Carabao Cup action on TalkSport. Chelsea taking on Luton Town, kicking off very, very shortly indeed. We'll have you right up to date with Fulham against Wimbledon. That kicks off at 8 p.m. as well. And remember, live action in the Conference League over on TalkSport 2 tonight as Brighton take on Tromsø. Let's head back though to Stamford Bridge. Leanne Sanderson, who's alongside Sam Matterface. Leanne, very, very quickly. Esteban, wanted to talk to you about him and just the talent that he brings and shows. You saw that front three, though, on Monday night, and you wonder how many starts he's going to get this season, despite the quality he's shown us so far in a Chelsea shirt. He's also a bit of an old-school wide winger, playing off the touchline. So how does he fit into the new formation for Xabi Alonso?
Yeah, I mean, I like Esteban. I remember watching him at the FIFA Club World Cup for Palmeiras as well. And he's still only 19 years old. It was unfortunate last year. He was on a really good run. 8 goals, 3 assists, and ended up picking up that injury against Manchester United, which meant he missed the World Cup. But I do think he can fit into this team, no doubt. I think he's quality, top quality. I mean, he got the London Footballer of the Year, Young Footballer of the Year last year, and he seems very humble. And I feel like having a coach like Xabi Alonso, the way he plays, and I like the fact he's that type of player that likes to get at players. I think in modern day football, that's kind of going out the game now, Hugh. So I like him, and I still think he's got a lot to learn at such a young age.
What do you expect very quickly to see in this first 45 minutes?
From Esteban?
From Chelsea, from Luton?
Yeah, I think, you know, for Luton, they'll be looking to kind of catch Chelsea on the counter. I think they'll be a highly possessed-based team, as we know Chelsea are. But I think Cole Palmer is unstoppable at the moment. I love how he started the season. You know, it goes back to how he was a couple of years ago. Reece James playing. I know a lot of people are questioning why they would play him in a game like this, because he picks up a lot of injuries. But I think, you know, Morgan Rogers getting a start as well. I think I'm looking forward to seeing him play. But for Luton, I think it's going to be a tough night. They can get through the first 20, 25 minutes, you know, because I think Chelsea are going to high press and look to try and kind of be 2 or 3 up after 20 minutes or so. So Luton have to alleviate that pressure and hopefully have that fearlessness. They sit back, Chelsea will hurt them.
Okay, all right, we'll have details of Rangers in the Conference League. Looks like it's heading to a penalty shootout very shortly indeed. Remember, we'll have updates from here at Craven Cottage a little bit later on. Fulham taking on Wimbledon. 7:30 start over on TalkSport 2 for Brighton against Tromsø. But here, can Xabi Alonso keep the good vibes going in the very early part of his tenure as Chelsea boss and make it 2 wins out of 2? Or can Luton Town summon their underdog spirit and shock the Blues at the Bridge? Your commentary team is quadruple winner Leanne Sanderson and TalkSport's chief football commentator Sam Matterface.
Thank you very much, Hugh. Yes, welcome to Stamford Bridge, which isn't really in Chelsea, it's actually in Fulham. And tonight's visitors who come from the home of London Luton Airport, which really isn't in London. 2 clubs with a loose grip on geography, but this season certainly they have a vision of where they want to go. Luton have been shooting off in all directions recently, Premier League to League One in 2 seasons, but stability and a return to the Championship definitely the aim. Chelsea's direction of travel has to be towards serious honours after Blueco took their net spend to 879 million since their arrival 4 years ago over the course of the summer. They might well end up recouping a bit more back from Manchester City when they sell Enzo Fernandez, with talks at an advanced stage and him being asked to keep out of the squad tonight so that he can further that move. But Chelsea have definitely laid down their intentions, which is to try and challenge for top honours this season. The former Lioness, Leanne Sanderson, is alongside me. Chelsea looked a serious threat going forward on Monday, and the alternates include someone who has already played for their country on a number of occasions, Esteban, the Brazilian wonder kid, and we've got Cole Palmer in the team, we've got Morgan Rogers in the team, and we have a 35-year-old Danny Welbeck as well. It's the other end that's the worry, isn't it?
It is, and I think you can see the fragilities on Monday night, you know, against Fulham with regards to they are susceptible, but I think the way susceptible to conceding, but I think the way Xabi Alonso wants to play, you know, tonight in that back 4, I like Lacroix, I spoke about him, you know, previously. Colwell being back as well, I think it's massive. I know he's not starting tonight, but it was massive that he was back, you know, at the weekend. And I do think there are fragilities there, but I like the way Chelsea started the season on the front foot, you know, playing this type of football that Chelsea fans have wanted for a number of years now.
Leanne Sanderson alongside me, high in the east stand with the shed end away to our left-hand side. The Luton supporters are in it. They sold out their allocation for this game in days. And it's the first home game for Xabi Alonso as the Chelsea boss. Cole Palmer gets the ball back towards Mike Penders, the £17 million signing from Genk, who was on loan at Strasbourg last year. And the new goalkeeper clips the ball upfield towards Danny Welbeck, who's also making his debut for Chelsea today. Looks quite natural in blue, doesn't he, Danny Welbeck? And this is the one major trophy that Luton actually won, Wembley 1988. Andy Dibble's penalty save, Brian Steen's winner in the last minute against Arsenal. The only major trophy in 140 years of Luton Town. Chelsea have won it 5 times, but not since 2015. And with Europe not on the horizon this year, Leanne, this is a trophy that they should be attacking.
Definitely, and I think, we're seeing just 45 seconds into the game, Luton are already sitting in pretty deep. Usually they're in a 4-1, 4-1, but they're just dropping in deep, hoping to kind of be able to maintain the ball at some point. But yeah, they're just banking up already and we're only 1 minute into the game. But yeah, I think for a team like Chelsea, who historically have won things over the years, previously with quality players, the type of signings they've made, I think will make a lot of Chelsea fans really happy.
Looks like Chelsea are playing a back 4. I'll run through the 2-11s in just a second, but Luton have survived longer than Fulham did the other night. But Estevao is teasing down that left-hand side. He's got away from his marker. He's then dragged to the ground by Banega. And the referee has given the decision the other way, a handball against Estevao, despite the fact that he seemed to go down. The referee tonight, Elliot Bell, who's on the Premier League list this year, but hasn't yet taken charge of a Premier League game. And a free kick is given to Luton away to our left. They're wearing bright orange jerseys with dark blue sleeves, dark blue shorts and socks. They're attacking the goal away to our right. It's almost full here at Stamford Bridge tonight, which is good for a Carabao Cup game. Chelsea in their new, very minimalistic blue kit with yellow trim and white socks, attacking the shed end away to our left in the first half. Ball loose in midfield. Barco, who's not too popular with visiting supporters and certainly not popular in the Bellingham household, sends the ball forward, picked up by Danny Welbeck, glides it into Estevao, who tries to return it to Palmer, cleared away by Adolfin and up towards the halfway line. Cole Palmer was in scintillating form the other night. It was a joy to behold, actually, watching Morgan Rogers and Cole Palmer just link the way they did so naturally. Old friends, of course, from back in the day, Manchester City. And they're in the Chelsea attack again tonight. Here is Chavarria making a home debut after coming off the bench at Fulham. Up to Morgan Rogers, wide left for Chelsea. Guides the ball back to the flame-haired Valentin Barco, who you might have seen at Brighton before, was at Strasbourg last year. Tries to force that ball into Morgan Rogers, but overhit it slightly. And then it's picked up by Liam Walsh of Luton Town in midfield. And then up into the centre, and before they can escape upfield through Emilio Lawrence, the ball is nabbed by Malagusto, and Chelsea have it back again. They've got Mike Penders in goal. It is a back 4 of Gusto at right back, Champong, Lacroix and Pep Chavarria. James and Valentin Barco in the centre, with Estevao, Cole Palmer and Rogers behind Danny Welbeck in attack. For Luton Town, Josh Keeley is their goalkeeper, Irish international, bought from Spurs for £1 million. Harrison Ashby on loan from Newcastle, the right back. Joe Johnson, the left back. George Johnston and Hakeem Adolfin in the centre of the park, with Liam Walsh and Casey Palmer, the deep line midfield players. Here's Palmer round the back, trying to get the ball in from a tight angle, as he did actually at Craven Cottage. He got down to the byline though, but that was always going to be a bit of a stretch, and it's into the side netting. The rest of the lineup: Gideon Kadoa, Banega and Emilio Lawrence, and Callum Marshall leads the line. Here's Leanne Sanderson on the opening few minutes.
Yeah, that was a brilliant run from Cole Palmer, and you could just see the telepathy I was talking about before with Morgan Rogers, and you mentioned them being together at City when they were younger, but you can just see sometimes with some players, Sam, you just click from the moment you get onto the pitch or on a training pitch. For some players it takes a little bit longer to find that, but you can see already early on. And it's going to be a long night for Luton Town because, 4 minutes into the game, it's been all Chelsea, as we expected, possessing the ball. And it's so tiring, Sam, having been on teams before where you don't have a lot of the ball, you're just chasing shadows. So they need to kind of capitalise if they do get the ball, take better care of it. And I know we're speaking about one Palmer in Cole Palmer, but Casey Palmer for Luton Town started the season really well. And he's one of those players to watch. If they are going to get on the score sheet, I think it'll be someone like him making something happen.
Ball is with Reece James in the middle of the park, plays it out wide towards the right-hand side. Benedict Banega goes across to try and take the ball off him. It goes back via Gusto to Lacroix, who came up with an assist on the opening day of the season for Chelsea. Barco back to Rodgers. Rodgers' cross takes a deflection. That should go into the arms of Keeley. It does. Wearing his pink jersey, pats the ball down and moves it to the edge of the penalty area. This is Talk Sport. Tonight on Talk Sport 2, Alex Crook and Mark McGee are at the Amex. Brighton against Tromsø in the Conference League playoff. Tomorrow morning at 10 we'll be back together with Gabby and Bon Lahore to talk Aston Villa and how they're going to get on against Arsenal on Monday night. Looking forward to that. That's from 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. And then we've got Premier League commentary for you tomorrow night. Joe Shannon behind the mic as Coventry, as Crystal Palace welcome Manchester City. That should be a huge game on tomorrow night. Martin Keown is alongside Joe Shannon for that one. And then Anfield is the destination Saturday as we bring you Nottingham Forest's trip to Liverpool. And then Monday Night Football is Aston Villa against Arsenal. Rodgers is offside as the ball's put forward to him by Pep Chavaria. And it's going to be a free kick just outside the D away to our left-hand side. So 6 minutes gone, it's 0-0. And Chelsea have had a lot of the ball but haven't done much damage so far.
I mean, there was one opportunity just moments ago where Callum Marshall made that run. And it's a good job Lacroix, they left him 1v1, as we saw that happen a couple of times against Fulham on Monday night. So there are fragilities there, but Lacroix just stepped across. And then equally, I think Morgan Rodgers is causing a lot of problems equally with Cole Palmer dropping into those spaces. It's difficult for the Luton Town players to know who picks Morgan Rodgers up because he's being passed on to the midfield. Casey Palmer's then having to drop in a little bit more, but they're always fluid in their movement.
Fulham against Wimbledon just down the road a little bit later on. We'll get to Joe Shannon on that when it kicks off. Brighton taking on Tromsø in the Conference League. And Rangers in a penalty shootout at the moment with Jabonlek away from home. We'll get there very shortly. But here come the away team from League One. Luton Town powering up the field is Harrison Ashbury. His cross is blocked by Lacroix again. And it's out and away for a throw-in level with the edge of the penalty area. And out of all of the defenders on Monday night, actually, I thought he played, and Champong, he played very well.
Yeah, and this is an opportunity now. Ashby's done well to break down this right-hand side. They've got a throw. But yeah, this is an opportunity, I think, you know, sometimes because Chelsea are playing quite expansive under Xabi Alonso, just one game in. You know, you can see there are spaces in behind, but I just think Chelsea have too much quality.
Throw in on this near side. Ashby's going to take it. It's going to be a long throw into the box. First real test for Mike Penders in the Chelsea goal. Ball flicked on into the centre of the penalty area, away by Barco. Smacked forward by Banega. Didn't really catch hold of that. And it goes, I think, out for a throw-in over on this near side. He's only 18 years of age. Here's Benedict Banega. Signed a new contract days after scoring on his senior debut. Everyone calls him Benny. And he's just had Luton Town's first shot of the night. 8 minutes into the game, 0-0 the score.
Are we calling that a shot?
Well, I think we could.
I mean, I know they say you don't. Yeah, you are. If you don't shoot, you don't score. Fair play to him because his eyes probably lit up. You know, you're at Stamford Bridge, but as soon as it left his foot, I mean, it's gone out for a throw.
We've all hit them like that.
Yeah, we have, to be fair. Not me, you.
Some of them more often. Yeah, I was going to say, some of us more often than not. Here's Johnston getting the ball back to his goalkeeper, Josh Keeley. And out to Hakeem Adofin, who's actually just come back from a big cut that he got on his head. It meant he missed the weekend game with Notts County. Chasing down the right-hand side, Gideon Kadua. Doesn't reach it before Chelsea snaffle it back, and Lacroix brings it out of defence. He's in the middle of the park. He runs into the centre and hands it off to Reece James. James, the captain. Must admit, I'm a bit surprised to see him tonight as well, really. Especially with all the injury issues that he has had over the course of the last few years. But he's in the team tonight, anchoring the midfield, which I think is going to be his position now. And a lot has been made of Enzo Fernandez moving on, and Chelsea maybe needing someone to step into that role. I suppose him changing position gives them an opportunity to play him there week in, week out. Here is Barco, who's just left of the centre field, plays it back to Champong, goes out to Palmer. Palmer cuts in on his left foot, looks up, tries to feed it into Rodgers, little step over. Welbeck, Rodgers, great chance, great football for Chelsea, and it was nabbed off of the toes by Joe Johnson. off Morgan Rogers and out for a corner away to our left-hand side. What an opportunity, and that was slick.
Brilliant play from Chelsea from the moment Lacroix played it out wide to the left-hand side. And it's the movement, Sam, that I think is so difficult for Luton Town to keep up with it. It was a little dummy from Welbeck, almost got to Morgan Rogers. It looked like he was going to just slot it. Fantastic play from Chelsea.
Esteval's corner is short to Palmer. He might get it back again here. No, Palmer's going to turn it down the right side. Now he does get it back, and then he tries to feed Malagusto. Heavy with the pass, goes out for a goal kick away to our left. Let's go off to Paul Mitchell. Has there been a resolution in the Conference League playoff? Here is Paul Mitchell.
I can tell you, Sam, there is, and Rangers are out of European competition. They have lost on the penalty shootout. Yablonets were first to miss, but a double miss from Finlay Curtis and James Penrice allowed Jan Charmosta to score the winning penalty. Rangers are out of Europe on penalty kicks. What a night it is for Rangers, and not of the good kind.
Here's Palmer combining with Esteval into the area. Left-footed shot spilt by him, comes back to Palmer. Goalkeeper gets up and manages to stop it at the second attempt and put it out for a corner kick. Another bit of delicious football from Chelsea on the edge of the penalty area. Good save in the end by Keeley after initially spilling the first effort from Cole Palmer. But the combination play on the edge of the box once again sumptuous.
I mean, what Esteval just did, Sam, should be illegal. It was an unbelievable touch inside the box. The ball was zipped into a lovely little touch on the outside. Brilliant.
Rangers out of Europe. Derek McInnes now in charge of Rangers. Hasn't had the greatest of starts. Here is the corner far side to be taken by Esteval. Again, it's short. Again given to Cole Palmer, who turns past Marshall and runs and shoots from the edge of the area. A bit of a wasted effort, goes wide and out for a goal kick away to our left-hand side. He's a lovely footballer, isn't he, Esteval?
Oh, I mean, I'm just watching. It's the first time I've seen Chelsea play live this season, and I'm just in awe of their front line and their midfield and the runs and the fluidity of the front three. And it's going to be difficult for teams to stick by them. I know we talk about the fragilities maybe in the back line, but that will come. But it's been really exciting. I mean, Esteval, what a player. But Cole Palmer, we knew. I know it divided opinions about him being left out, but I still couldn't get my head around the fact he was left out of the World Cup squad. Genuinely, but some people say it could be the best thing that's ever happened to him because he looks like he's come back, fitter and sharper than last season. And he had a number of injuries last year, didn't he?
He did.
But I love him. I could watch. Cole Palmer is one of those players that gets you off your seat.
Here is Chavaria. Here's another one. Rogers getting into the box, turning, shooting, firing it against the legs of the defender. Casey Palmer was back there helping out. The ball squirms out to the right-hand side. Chelsea continue their attack. Their attack in the shape of Malagusto. 12.5 minutes played. You're listening to TalkSport. We're live in the Carabao Cup second round, watching Chelsea 0, Luton Town 0, and Lacroix in possession. Chelsea with a strong team tonight. They've made changes, but they've still got a lot of frontline players. There's no youth team players in the starting lineup tonight. The only youngster in the squad really is, well, I say the only youngster in the squad, the only academy player in the squad is 16-year-old Reggie Watson, who played a bit in pre-season, and the rest of them are already quite young, aren't they? We have got one or two elder statesmen on the pitch now. Danny Welbeck, who's also made a contribution to this game, wearing the 18 shirt at the age of 35, making his Chelsea debut. Rogers combining with Barco, getting into the penalty area, shut off by Harrison Ashby and a Dauphin, but he's got the ball back quickly. He's scrapped for it, he's clipped it towards the far post, looking for Esteval. He nudges it back to Malagusto. Gusto brings it down, looks for help. The Brazilian provides it on the angle of the penalty area, goes square into James. James out towards the left and Chavaria. Chavaria doesn't control it properly. It spins off his shins and then runs out to Rogers, into Barco. Barco swipes at it, it's well over the top of the crossbar, and it's out for a goal kick away to our left. But it does feel as if Chelsea are knocking at the door.
They are, and it wasn't the greatest of strikes from Gusto there on that right-hand side, but Chelsea, their movement, their passing, Chavaria down his left-hand side, and Morgan Rogers is causing a lot of problems. Barco's had a lot of the ball as well. I just wanted to make a point, Sam, about what you were saying about Reece James, and I love Reece James. I think he's a beautiful footballer, but I think in the fullback position, he's one of the best in the world, right? No doubt. I think in that defensive midfield position, he becomes just not average, but kind of. Do you know what I mean? I could be wrong, but I'm just saying that I don't see him there. I just don't see it. I know that they're going to continue to push it, but I'm just not seeing it there.
I don't think he'll play fullback at all this season. I think
I'm
he'll
sure
play
you're
there
right,
the
but
whole campaign.
I don't. If I'm going up against Chelsea with Reece James in the central defensive midfield area, I'm not fearing him in that position.
Esteval's cross, a header by Danny Welbeck, and he glances that in towards the near post. It's gobbled up by the goalkeeper, Josh Keeley.
And I like Reece James. I think he's a top footballer, but I just think he's so much better in the fullback position. He's so different playing in that midfield.
Given away by Luton, and Palmer and Rodgers combine, and then on to Welbeck, who tries to stroke it into the body of the defender, Dauphin, who did have his hand by his side and touching the floor, but it certainly caught the football as well. There were half-hearted appeals, but it is Chelsea who have carved open several opportunities. On the Reece James thing, I just wonder, Leanne, the reason maybe why they're persisting with this central midfield thing is because in a system like this where so much now is demanded of the fullbacks, I'm not sure his body can play right back every week.
That's a fair shout, Sam, to be fair. Like I said, I love him as a footballer. I think he's brilliant. But I just don't really feel like teams. I mean, you're talking in a game like this, against certain teams, you might get away with it. But when we're talking elite teams, like the Arsenals, the Man Cities, I think they'll think brilliant that he's in there. Not because I think he's performing badly, but I don't see it. Not saying it's the same as when Trent was in there for England, but it's like these things that managers try that I could be wrong. He could go on to have a fantastic season, and I hope I'm wrong, but I just don't see it.
Ball out of play from Morgan Rodgers, gives a goal kick to Luton, who yet to really lay a glove on Chelsea. 16 and a bit minutes in. I think with Reece James, one of his great qualities is the ability to spray a pass, and he can switch the play really well from right to left. His set piece taking is excellent, and I suppose the one thing you'd worry about is that combative in midfield. That's a lovely ball forward by James up to Esteval, brings it down beautifully out of the sky. He tries to turn inside the area and hand it off towards Palmer. Cross goes Banega, and it's smuggled out to the far side, but that was an example of that passing range we're talking about. And then moments later he gets dispossessed by Callum Marshall because he wasn't looking in his wing mirrors.
A beautiful ball, fantastic ball from Reece James to play Esteval in, and like I said, no doubt in his ability on the ball. I just think against a more intense team, when you've got, say, players like Declan Rice in there, Guimaraes as well, when he's going up against those types of players, and it seems like he might be going up against Enzo Fernandez in there as well this season, I just question that.
Well, it won't be long before we see him up against Arsenal, because that Chelsea-Arsenal game on the agenda very, very shortly. It's going to come around on a Sunday afternoon in the next couple of weeks. Here is Esteval trying to find Reece James. A little touch by Callum Marshall. Luton beat a lot of other teams to the former West Ham striker. Here is Chavarria into Esteval. He pops up in the centre now, looking for Rodgers, then turns and guides it back. He got clipped by Marshall. That's going to be a free kick 6 yards outside the box. And Esteval goes down holding his shin. He's only just back from injury, really, after missing the World Cup with a hamstring complaint that ended his season early.
And just as we were talking about Reece James, Sam, I mean, I think this is a fantastic position. 25 yards out or so, up and over the wall, when he's got really good techers to be able to get this up and over. It looks like Cole Palmer's fancying it as well, potentially to go around the wall.
It's like a cue. Danny Welbeck took free kicks last year for Brighton from this sort of range. Morgan Rodgers did it for Aston Villa. Reece James can do it. Cole Palmer can do it. And orchestrating the lot, the new signing, Austin McPhee, the set-piece coach.
Yeah, I know. It does make me laugh, Austin McPhee.
You'd like hair like that, though, wouldn't you?
Modern day football, I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing, isn't it? Set-piece coaches have become so valuable.
They're the new rock stars, sort of. Here is Palmer touching it to James, who then strikes it. Brilliant save down to his left by the goalkeeper Keeley, who was full stretch to his far post to push it away to safety. Well worked, choreographed free kick. A little tap from Palmer to James. His right-footed effort steered away by the goalkeeper. It was good, strong hands from Josh Keeley.
I tell you what, Cole Palmer disguised that unbelievably well, you know, because I'm not a big fan of when people kind of shift it on the edge of the box, but that was great play.
James under pressure from Marshall, sends it back out to the left, and Chavarria. 20 minutes gone. It's Chelsea 0, Luton 0 on Talk Sport. All the football all season. Carabao Cup, Conference League, that's over on Talk Sport 2 right now. We've got it all, everything. Here is Lacroix over on the far side, and then he sends a cross into the centre, which is stretching Harrison Ashby, and that actually goes behind, and it's out of play. And away for a corner kick to Chelsea.
I mean, I mentioned pre-game that if Luton can get through the first 20 minutes and it's still 0-0, I mean, they've been chasing shadows. It's been like 80% possession to Chelsea as we expected. And obviously for someone like Callum Marshall, going to look to try and maybe get him on the counter, but they have to possess the ball a little bit, Sam.
Rodgers, James, back to Rodgers again, into the box. Difficult when you're a League One side to compete with the might of Chelsea, who have brought most of their first teamers with them tonight. And Pep Traveria, they're an example of a player who's played in a European final. They brought him in from Rayo Vallecano. He's another ready-made player, a bit like some of the others they brought in this summer. Lacroix and Henderson and Welbeck, who can come straight into the first team squad. There's no settling in period for them. Palmer flicks his foot at the ball, and then it's a header by Ashby, which almost takes it wide of his own goalkeeper, but there was no pressure on the ball from Chelsea. Pressure on Rangers and Derek McInnes tonight. They've gone out in the Conference League playoff. They're out of Europe. Paul Mitchell bringing us the details of the penalty shootout, which saw them dismissed from European competition altogether on a penalty shootout to Jablonec earlier on, and you'll be able to have your say on that with the Sports Bar boys tonight from 10. 03717 223344. It is Cundy and O'Hara back together again at 10 o'clock tonight. 03717 223344. Let's see Cundy down the edge of the press box.
We just saw him in the lift actually earlier.
You saw him in the lift,
with Jody Morris, yeah.
Good. Ian Abrahams is at Brighton. Tromsø will get there in just a second. Here is Rodgers down the left-hand side, trying to get around the back of the defender. Let's go and check in with Ian Abrahams. I haven't spoken to him this season yet. What's happening in that Conference League playoff game? Ian?
20 minutes gone, Brighton 0, Tromsø 0. All Brighton really, as you'd expect, although we had to have a long delay for an injury to a Tromsø player. Best effort of cross coming in from the left-hand side, headed just wide by Pascal Gross. Brighton 0, Tromsø 0-0 on aggregate.
European champions PSG will face both Manchester City and Aston Villa and Barcelona in the league phase of this season's Champions League. We'll discuss it at half-time, but the Champions League draw has been done. There's some mouth-watering ties. Arsenal hosting Real Madrid at the Emirates. They've also got a trip to Bayern Munich. Shakhtar Donetsk are going to play their home games in the Champions League here. Did you know that?
Here where?
Stamford Bridge.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
I didn't know that, Sam. Caught me off guard there.
Teresa Keneally, who is the press steward downstairs. You know Teresa?
No.
Yeah, well, she's been. Do you know what? Today she's celebrating. This is the first Chelsea home game. She's celebrating her 50th season as the Chelsea press steward downstairs, and she's. Let's just say if she likes you, she's still grumpy. But she's one of those that you're very scared of. You wouldn't sit in the wrong seat. Let's just put it that way.
Okay.
She's the boss around here, and it's her 50th season this season.
Wow, that's amazing.
She's a brilliant service for Chelsea. She's one of those people that you see the first time you come into the football club, and she's fantastic to deal with. She's always looked after us. She's a part of the furniture here. 50 seasons now doing that job. Absolutely terrific. But she's got an extra job on her hands because Shakhtar are going to play here during the Champions League. Goal at Brighton, Ian Abrahams.
Brighton 1, Tromsø 0. It's Kostulas who's got the goal. Terrible mistake in the back by Tromsø from the edge of the area. He fired home. The game's on TalkSport 2. Brighton are on their way. Brighton 1, Tromsø 0.
Download the app. You can flick between the two stations and you'll be able to get hold of TalkSport 2. Back here at Stamford Bridge, one-way traffic pretty much, all blue going towards our left-hand side, but at the moment Luton Town have held firm. Is that because Luton have been defending particularly well, or is it down to the fact that Chelsea have been a little bit profligate so far? We'll ask Leanne Sanderson that in just a second, but Casey Palmer has just robbed Cole Palmer, and now they're on the attack, but it doesn't get over the halfway line before Malagusto intervenes and gets it back to Mike Penders.
I think it's a matter of just Chelsea trying to find a way. They've been really fluid with their movement in the front line. Cole Palmer's coming off of the front line, also making runs. Danny Welbeck as well will drop in, and I think they're being really fluid. But I think the way the game's gone, it's pretty obvious, Luton have come here to bank up in a 4-5-1. There's times where Callum Marshall is actually making the runs, and there was an opportunity where the ball went back to Mike Penders, and he was signalling for everyone to come and press. But clearly, the message from Jack Wilshere is we're going to sit in and try and catch them on the counter. But sometimes you do have to take a little bit of risk.
Yeah, I was talking to one of the staff members earlier, actually, and they said they're going to have to suffer without the ball today. They don't usually have to do that, but it's useful. It's a useful learning tool. as the ball goes back off the knee of Marshall and goes out for a corner kick inadvertently. And sort of a cross from Gusto from well outside the penalty area that Marshall sort of kneed towards his own goal, and Keeley couldn't stop it from going out for a corner. Yeah, they've had about 70% possession during their league games, and they're a good team. They haven't lost since the 7th of March. 15 games unbeaten in all competitions, Luton Town. A Wembley trophy inside that as well. Final day win at Bolton. And this season 2 wins and a draw from 3 games. Here is the corner over on the far side. Left-footed from Esteval in towards the near post, and it's smuggled away by Gideon Kadua. And up towards the halfway line. It's a different approach. I think they feel as if eventually they'll be out of this Division League One and they'll need to suffer a little bit more, and maybe tonight is an audition for the candidates who might be going on that journey. Here's Palmer to the far post. Lacroix with a header. He should have headed it back across the face of goal. He went for glory from a very tight angle and hit the side netting in the end.
Yeah, he got all his angles mixed up there for sure, because he was completely past the back post there. You can see what he was trying to do potentially. I'd like to think he wasn't going for goal there. I was never the most blessed in the air, Sam, but like, he has to head that back across goal. But they were left 2v1 on the back post, Luton, so they got away with one there.
Well, interesting from Xabi Alonso tonight. He's changed the formation. He's gone to a back 4. He went with a back 3 in the game Monday. Looked like that was going to be the way things were set, and it may well be the case in the Premier League, but it's a back 4 today, and he's got more attackers on the field. They haven't been able to do any damage just yet. But here's Esteval in the centre circle, accelerating forward and releasing Cole Palmer, who runs up to the edge of the area and then gets it onto his left foot, trying to find a way past that packed orange blob in front of the 18-yard box, which is the Luton Town defence and midfield that have dropped so deep there's hardly any gaps between them. Then Gusto gets round the outside, tries to stop the ball and go beyond the defender Johnson, can't do so, and then drags him back, gives away a free kick. It's a Luton Town ball wide on the left-hand side. 27 gone, 0-0 on TalkSport.
You know, we speak about them not having much of the ball, but fair play, because Luton Town are doubling up, tripling up all over the pitch. Just got a free kick there in the defensive third, but 26 minutes gone. It's been a tough night for them. They've not had a lot of the ball. Casey Palmer had the ball down this right-hand side, and he was looking to try and play Marshall in behind, and you can see his frustration, because when you have the ball, you have to take care of it. But I think, to be fair to Luton, they've defended really well. They put their bodies on the line. They're doubling up all over the pitch, and it is quite difficult. But I have this concern that if they do go up, it could be like an onslaught of goals, really. But they're doing all right so far, Luton.
And Marshall trying to feed the ball to Casey Palmer. A Champong goes in and challenges. The ball spirals into the air, and Penders comes out and collects it. There was a big collision of 2 very popular Chelsea Academy graduates. Casey Palmer, who never got on the pitch in Chelsea blue for the first team, but was very much a part of the furniture in the Academy for many years. And a Champong who's come through the Academy, and he's started to indicate, especially in the last couple of games, that he could be part of the first team squad this year, as Chavarria tries to go down the outside of Harrison Ashby, who did just lean over and put his arm on Chavarria's shoulder. He went down, asked the referee to take a look at it. The referee said, nothing doing, continue, and it remains 0-0.
I'm quite shocked that Chavarria went down then, because he actually got past Ashby in that moment, was already gone. I don't think there was enough contact for him to really go down, and he was off on his way down the left-hand side inside the box. So it's quite a weird one. I'm not saying having us a penalty at all.
He's come in as the replacement for Mark Cucurella. Lovely little nick round the corner to Rogers from Welbeck, edge of the area, but across again. Marshall getting back to help out his defence, immediately nicks the ball off Rogers. And Chelsea in those moments actually have got to be maybe a little bit more decisive, Leanne, if they want to pierce what is a very committed Luton backline at the moment.
Well, there's also an ability to overplay. Danny Welbeck did really well there to sell the dummy, and then Morgan Rogers did a little step over, which wasn't really necessary in that moment.
Esteval getting to the edge of the area. He beats the defender, then beats him again. Comes back on his left foot, curls the ball to the far post. Valentin Barco smacks a volley at the shins of Harrison Ashby, and the ball bounces into the right full-back position and then goes out for a throw into Chelsea, deep inside opposition territory. Brighton leading Tromsø by 1-0 in the conference. Rangers out of the Conference League tonight. In fact, they're out of Europe tonight. They've slid out of every European competition they've been playing in this season so far, and you just Wonder what the reception to that is going to be. Here's Chavarria down the left, getting towards the edge of the area. A right-footed ball into the box, which is over the head of Benedict Banega. And it's out and away for a goal kick away to our left-hand side. This is Talk Sport.
Yeah, I mean, Chavarria's have a really good game defensively. Just overhit that one. These things happen. I think the longer the game goes on, if this game is still 0-0 at half-time, I think Chelsea will feel quite frustrated. And it's probably the first time we've seen Josh Keeley play out, you know, kick it long. He's played out every single time they've had the ball in the back, and it's invited pressure on from Chelsea. So now they've decided to go route one, and it seems to be working quite well. Get to the seconds. You never know. You've got to, at some point, you know, take the lead off a little bit and play with a little bit more freedom and flexibility.
Morgan Rogers winning the ball back here midfield off Liam Walsh and managing to find Valentin Barco. He stretches to get there ahead of Johnston. Johnston, according to the referee, got the ball. I don't think Morgan Rogers was so convinced. Marshall turns brilliantly, helps the ball out wide. Banega struggles towards the edge of the area, plays it even further right. This is Lawrence. Lawrence in the box now, trying to take on the 6-yard area. Runs into Gusto, then fouls Estevao as he chases the loose ball down, and a free kick is given on the side of the penalty area, and it remains 0-0.
That was the quality there. You know, we spoke about Banega before, taking that shot from distance. He made the right decision to go out to left-hand side to Lawrence, and then Lawrence has to put that ball into the box. The longer you allow Chelsea to get back into position, that is where they're just going to come and take the ball from you, exactly like they did. They have to move the ball a little bit quicker, Luton, because they've created a couple of overloads down their left-hand side, but they're not then the final ball into the box. They're delaying it, which is allowing Chelsea to get back onside.
This stand that we're in was built in the 70s, and there's a massive, great big lip on the roof that comes down in front of us. We're at the back of the stand, and it almost goes halfway across the pitch. It's absolutely huge, and it means that we can't see the sky. And I have to tell you, I did notice it earlier, the sky absolutely beautiful as the sun was setting over Brompton Cemetery away to our right-hand side. Milky pink sky, lots of yellows and light blues. It was absolutely beautiful, a real picture in West London this evening. Certainly we've seen a bit of artistry from Chelsea, but no penetration up until this point. It remains 0-0 on the night where advanced talks are taking place with Manchester City over Enzo Fernandez. Emiliano Martinez is about to move from Aston Villa to Chelsea, and we've heard in the last few minutes that Rafael Leao, who you'll know from AC Milan and Portugal, is prioritising joining Aston Villa over Galatasaray, despite being offered £250,000 a week in Turkey. He wants to play for Unai Emery. That's according to TalkSport sources that we've reached us in the last few moments. Villa fans, that will certainly make them a little bit happier after a season in which some of their assets had been stripped.
Yeah, I mean, I've always liked Rafael Leao, but I think it's been quite a decline, hasn't it? There was a moment where it looked like he was going to push on, then he could barely get in the Portugal side. So I heard his buyout clause was quite a lot as well, Sam. You know, if they wanted to buy him out of a contract, apparently it was like 170 mil or something like that.
Don't think they'll be getting that much, do you?
No, they won't be. And they were talking about it earlier, about the fact that, you know, a quarter of that is probably what he'll go for. I still think there's a player in there, but like, I think he's been quite disappointing last season. Doesn't really, I hate this when people say this, but he doesn't really track back. He doesn't do the defending. I never liked defending. That's why I'm glad I retired, you know, because now strikers have to defend a little bit more in modern day football. But I like him, and I think he'll be a good signing for Villa.
Chelsea have possession of the ball on halfway. James just steps in front of the centre circle, works it wide to Estevao. Estevao being held up here over on the far touchline, but travelling with the ball at speed, switching it to Chavarria, who's just left of the D, 5 yards back from the edge of the area. Then on to a Champong back into Chavarria, and now Rogers takes it. Angle of the box, Chavarria, and moving the ball with a bit more speed now, Chelsea. Bit of space for James to strike. He does that, stopped by George Johnson. And then there's a foul by James as the ball ricochets back into his path on captain Liam Walsh, and it's going to be a free kick to Luton Town, who have held Chelsea at arm's length up until now. That hasn't been the case down at Brighton, where there's been another goal for Ian Abrahams.
Brighton 2, Tromso 0. More poor defending, abysmal defending from Tromso. This time the beneficiary, Maxime de Kuyper, who slammed the ball into the back of the net. Brighton 2, Tromso 0. Live commentary on TalkSport 2. Brighton are going through.
Callum Marshall heads the ball into the Chelsea half, but Lacroix tidies it up. Best away trip I've ever been on that. Tromso.
Really?
Absolutely cracking place.
Really?
Yeah.
Can't tell if you're winding me up or not.
No, I'm being serious.
Wow, and you go everywhere. A bit like me.
It's very... Where are you going to be tomorrow?
Miami. For work.
Oh, obviously, yeah. But you might go down to South Beach for a little while. Yeah, Tromso, brilliant place. It's Norway.
It did look beautiful, to be fair.
It's further north than Bodø Glimt, up round the corner in the Arctic Circle. Fjords everywhere. And actually, when I went with Tottenham Hotspur, they went up there in, I think, the end of November, beginning of December. There was only about 3 hours of light, and even that was pretty dim. Here is George Johnston, forward by Joe Johnson over the halfway line up towards Callum Marshall, headed away by Lacroix, taken down on the halfway line by Luton Town's Banega, goes back in field and then cross field out towards the right side where Harrison Ashby's trying to bring it forward. Casey Palmer takes it away from Danny Welbeck and then gives the ball away to Lacroix, but he doesn't hold on to it, stabs it forward, and it goes out towards the far side. It's collected over on the far touchline by Banega, then sent back to Johnson, who's got a chance maybe to cross. He stops the ball, waits, gives it to Banega instead. Gusto wanted offside, but he's not going to get it. Lawrence goes into the box, plays it against the Champong, and then Estevao tries to stop it from going for a corner. The referee decides that he didn't do that, and it's a Luton Town corner after 37 minutes.
I mean, I know he spoke about the fact that Chelsea are in a back four against Fulham on Monday, are in a back three, but they're quite a narrow back four, and that's why I think Ashby's getting a lot of joy down this right-hand side. It's the first time we've really seen them go down the left-hand side, and now they've got a corner, and this is where I think they can really capitalise on. I know I highlighted Casey Palmer as one of their main threats, but I think he needs to be better when he has got the ball. You know, it's difficult when you don't touch the ball a lot within a game, but when you do, that's when you have to make it count. So definitely opportunity for them now from that left-hand side on the corner.
Yep, the corner about to come in from the far touchline. Liam Walsh standing over it. He sends the ball high underneath Mike Penders, who gets there, gets something on it, but not very convincing. Comes back to Benny Banega, and then it's shepherded out towards this near side. Back in by Banega once again. Penders has come, or he's gone to try and reach it. He was bumped off the ball, and it slipped out of his gloves, but he's been protected by the referee.
Didn't look the most convincing, Mike Penders there. I mean, I think, as always, the goalkeeper does get the foul when anyone touches them, and I think it was a foul, but didn't look the most convincing, did he? First night nerves, maybe. It might have helped that he found out probably just before he came out that Emi Martinez was on his way. Yeah,
I think that probably would precipitate a Robert Sanchez departure, don't you? You would have thought so before Tuesday night, although there's not much time to get those deals done now.
Do you know what though? I don't even blame Robert Sanchez. He's been at the club for 4 seasons now. Like the managers keep putting him in, and he's clearly not been anywhere near good enough. So you know you can't hold it against him. It's about the managers that keep putting him in, really.
Kick-off deadline day special next Tuesday night, 7 o'clock with Adrian Durham. Plus updates from the EFL as well. That same night as West Ham Wolves, isn't it, on TalkSport 2? Here's Cole Palmer deep inside the Luton half, but wide over on the right. He chucks it back to a Champong, who's just in front of the centre circle inside Luton territory. 7 minutes to go before half-time. Chelsea played a lot of sideways and backwards passes and a lot of football in front of a Luton Town defence which has been camped on the edge of their penalty area. Back 5 most of the time, with Banega playing wide on the left and Johnson just tucking in from left back. Here is Barco, infield to Lacroix. Lacroix back out to the flamehead Barco again. He tries to pierce the defence. He finds Estevao, who shoots across the goalkeeper and misses the far post by about 1.5 yards.
Excellent ball for Barco. He's very good at threading those needles in between the lines. I think for Estevao, he took it nice and sharply, but just got his angles a little bit wrong. I think he thought he was over to the left a little bit more, and it just went agonisingly wide. But I do think, you know, if Chelsea are going to break the deadlock anytime soon, I feel like it's going to come from Estevao, Cole Palmer. They started the game really well, Sam, didn't they? On the front foot, fluid. And I think the last 10-15 minutes, Luton have kind of got a little bit more confidence. You can see them gaining a little bit more confidence within this game. Well,
in the first 9 minutes, first 10 minutes of the game, they had 9 shots. Since then, I think they've had 6. So I think it's definitely slowed during that period, no doubt about it. Fulham 0, Chelsea 0. That one kicked off 7 minutes ago down at Craven Cottage. So I say Chelsea, Fulham 0, Wimbledon 0. There's too many West London teams playing today. They're all having a go. Goal at Brighton, Ian Abrahams.
Brighton 3, Tromso 0. You might see the Northern Lights in Tromso, but we're seeing Brighton up in lights tonight. Max Vifa, the latest to fire the ball home. He started to move and finished it from just inside the box. Commentary on TalkSport 2 of a cakewalk. Brighton 3, Tromso 0.
TalkSport 2 available via the app if you want to get involved. And also on the app, all of the TalkSport podcasts that are available, including TalkSport Daily. Keeps you up to date with all the big issues of the day. Here is Morgan Rogers clipping the ball towards the far post, looking for Gusto. He's played it against Esteval, and then it's bounced off his hand, but he's got it back again. The referee says play on. Gusto with another chance to cross deep towards Danny Welbeck, who heads the ball down into the 6-yard box, comes back to the edge of the area. Chavarria plays it against the shins of Gideon Kadua, and it goes out for a Chelsea corner. It's a bit more like it, just trying to shift the play and be a bit more persistent. They need a bit of a killer edge, don't they, really, Chelsea? It is
difficult, though, Sam. I've played against teams where before they just bank up and it's difficult to break down, but that's why I'm saying I think they need to find Esteval a little bit more, and Cole Palmer, because they are those types of players that can, beat players, do something special.
Now here's the corner to be taken by James from the left-hand side, right-footed, headed away, comes back out to Gusto, who, well, I don't know what he was trying to do there, but it didn't work. Johnson, though, is robbed by Palmer, who sent Lacroix down the right. He sends it into the box. It looked like hands there from Johnson as he went to try and defend it. And eventually it goes behind and away for another corner kick to Chelsea over on the far side, just ramping it up before half-time. By the way, Champions League draw today. Loads of games. You can't really pick it all apart. Trans-Euro Express special podcast today being recorded, comes out tomorrow morning. They'll look in depth at the Champions League draw, a guide to Viking, Saba, all those teams that you might not have heard of, and they'll make sure that you've got all the information you need. Trans-Euro Express. Corner kick to the far post, so Champong heads it down, takes a deflection, and then bobbles up into the arms of Josh Keeley. Still no closer to finding out who's going to play Leeds United in the next round of this competition.
I mean, considering they've got a new set-piece coach, I feel like on the corners, and I mean, these things do take a little while. They haven't been great, have they? They've been floated in a number of times, especially from the left-hand side and the right. I think Luton have defended really well.
Here is Harrison Ashby for Luton Town, coming up towards halfway. Liam Walsh takes over, clips it out towards the far side. Banega takes it on. He's got Gusto for company. Esteval's going out there as well to try and sandwich him. And Esteval and Banega really trying to do a number on him. But the youngster did very well, actually, I think. 18 years of age. Flying over on that left-hand side, getting up to support the attack from left wing back tonight. There's a foul by Cole Palmer on Johnson. That's going to be a free kick, 12 yards back from the edge of the area for Luton Town, 2.5 minutes before half-time, Leanne.
Not really necessary for Cole Palmer to make that foul, to be honest, on Johnson, but I think the last kind of 10 minutes or so, Liam Walsh, the captain of Luton, has been pinging balls out to that left, and there is space down this Luton's right-hand side, Chelsea's left-back position. There is a lot of space there because the back four of Chelsea are quite compact and narrow, but this is an opportunity now from that left-hand side, in-swinging set-piece.
Well, the Luton Town fans feel as if they've got their club back. No doubt that feel good is the word you hear around Kenilworth Road at the moment. And they're the ones in fine vice away to our left-hand side. All the Chelsea players lined up on the 18-yard line as the free kick comes in from Walsh, and the header on goal from Madoffin, straight down the arms of Mike Penders, who collects it in bright green tonight and bowls it out towards the near side. That was a chance.
Do you know what? It was one of those ones from Madoffin where, from where we are, it looked like it had more power on it, because I instinctively headed it like I was on the pitch. Do you know what I mean? And then it just took a lot of power off of it. But he was kind of open. Chelsea didn't really, do well on the marking there.
Which again, having a set-piece coach, you would have thought everyone was in tune. Here's Palmer playing in Esteval round the back, pulls it back to Rogers. He's hit the crossbar, it's come back out. And it's cleared away by Luton Town, but that's the closest that Chelsea have come. Their £117 million attacking midfielder rattles the crossbar at the shed end on his home debut.
Beautiful play again from Chelsea, so good, fluid in their movement. Esteval, Cole Palmer, Morgan Rogers just peeled out.
Oh dear.
In and around the penalty spot. Hit it really well, but hit the crossbar, but beautiful play. You can see a lot of the stuff they're doing is straight off the training ground. You can see it. Sometimes the telepathy is there, no doubt, but that was brilliant play from Chelsea. I can't believe they haven't scored yet, Sam.
Yeah, you can see those connections, those automatic responses starting to come to life. It will take a little bit of time. It is a new manager with a new tactical idea and sprinkling of new players as well. There was just a moment there where Malo Gusto got done for pace by Banega. Here's Esteval doing everyone for pace. In fact, he even outfoxed himself there and kicked the ball out of play and went for a goal kick away to our left-hand side, and we're nearly at the 45-minute mark.
Yeah, I love that type of banner. The Luton Town fans gave it a loud cheer. But like I said about Esteval, he's one of those players, still only 19 years old, to just get you off your seat, Sam. You know, there's not many players now that I feel like have that type of maverick type of play where they take people on and are exciting, unpredictable, but knows exactly what he's doing. I love watching him play. Well,
remember, it goes to a shootout if it's all square by the time we finish here. A little bit later on in SW6. After 90 minutes, Barco having to stretch here to get the better of Ashby, but that leaves a bit of space for Morgan Rogers. He slid in by Chavarria, but Ashby's recovered his footing, and there's a lovely reverse pass off, a brilliant footwork by Rogers to send Chavarria away onto Palmer, turns and shoots, takes a deflection, goes out for a corner. Goalkeeper was flying across to it, didn't know where it was going to go, but again, that quickness of thought and the speed with which Chelsea break can be devastating at times. They'll be surprised they haven't broke the deadlock.
Brilliant advantage from the referee, because that was definitely a foul on Barco centrally, and Morgan Rogers did so well there. Feels like only a matter of time. They haven't got long left.
Well, we've played our 1 minute of added time at the end of the first 45, and the corner from James is headed away by a Dauphin. That will be the last action of the first 45. And there haven't been too many opportunities. Cole Palmer had one which was spilled. The biggest of Chelsea's, certainly Morgan Rogers rattling the crossbar. That just before half-time. All the ball has belonged to Chelsea. There's been some neat, quick, sharp football, but there hasn't been any penetration up until this point, and Luton are very much still in this. They've defended doggedly, they've got men behind the ball, they've looked very disciplined. Jack Wilshere said they would have to suffer tonight, and they have had to suffer without the ball tonight, that is for sure, but they suffered well. Half-time, Chelsea 0, Luton 0.
See, with 73% possession, 15 shots, 4 of those on target. They've had 31 touches in the opposition box, and it is stalemate at the break. Leanne Sanderson, the former Lioness, former Arsenal forward, full control from Chelsea, and despite the great array of attacking talent they put out tonight, they haven't exactly put Luton to the sword, obviously. What do you think the manager, Xabi Alonso, will be feeling about that first half performance?
I mean, how they haven't scored in this game, Q, is beyond me. I've really enjoyed watching their front three move around. You know, Morgan Rogers is coming off the back line, Cole Palmer. Danny Welbeck hasn't really had many moments, but he's been in the game. You know, he's done a couple of things which has allowed Morgan Rogers to get on the ball. And I think they've been so fluid. It feels like only a matter of time. And to be fair to Luton Town, like, they've defended with their lives. They're doubling up, you know, tripping up all over the pitch. I mentioned before the game, I thought they'd try and catch them on the counter, you know, with Marshall in those moments. And I think as the game goes on, because you don't want to then start pushing higher and then leaving space, because Chelsea will hurt you. But I do think, you know, I've enjoyed watching. I mean, Estebal's been unbelievable in the first half. Cole Palmer looks brilliant again. Morgan Rogers as well. How they've not scored, Hugh, is beyond me, but fair play to Jack Wilshere and Luton for their defending.
We've seen a game and a half, really, of Chelsea this season. Given that they've had a new manager and a number of new faces into the team, I'm stunned by just how well they interlink at the moment. It looks like a team that's been together for a lot longer.
Yeah, it's frightening, really. And you mentioned to me before the game, you know, Emi Martinez is about to come in as well. Like, do I think they can really challenge? And I said to you, I don't think so, based upon how amazing Arsenal are. But after what I've seen, I know it's against Luton Town, they're in League One, and that's no disrespect, but, like, they're frightening, Hugh. The fluidity of Esteval, Cole Palmer, Morgan Rogers. You know, Barco looks excellent as well, picking up the ball centrally, dropping in a little bit deeper. So, you know, I can't believe Xabi Alonso, you can see exactly his blueprint of what he's trying to do. They're in a back four tonight. Monday night they're in a back three. They're quite compact and narrow, and Ashby's getting a lot of joy down the right hand side, but Luton just don't have the quality. Now, as the game goes on, maybe they'll get a little bit more belief, but then at the same time, Xabi Alonso's got an array of talent that he can bring off the bench. You know, João Pedro could come into this game. Go on.
No, I was just going to say, I'm sure, though, Jack Wilshere would have taken a goalless draw at the break, particularly when he saw that starting 11 for Chelsea tonight and that talent. They've grown into the game, though, haven't they? What would you say they've done well? I know you mentioned a couple of things there, but what do you think Jack Wilshere will be thinking in the other dugout?
I mean, I think George Johnston in that back line has put himself on the line. Liam Walsh, the captain's been picking up the ball, but I think just defensively they've been excellent. I mean, only 30 seconds into the game, the only thing they were thinking about was banking up in a 4-5-1, Hugh, so it's pretty obvious that's exactly what they tried to do. There's a couple of chances where, you know, Callum Marshall has made that run to press Penders on his own. Now, maybe as the game goes on, you'll start to see his teammates follow him, you know, because at the same time, Luton cannot press Chelsea high because they'll just pop the ball around them. So I think Jack Wilshere will be really happy. You're right, half-time 0-0 at Stamford Bridge against a really good Chelsea side, but they have to offer a little bit more going forward, Luton, because I feel like, you know, you can't sit back like this. But I think they'll be happy with how the half's gone, and the Luton Town fans have been excellent behind the goal.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Luton Town, the Hatters, will be happy. Goalless at the breakaway at Stamford Bridge. Carabao Cup second round action live for you here on Talk Sport. We got a lot to bring you tonight. Not quite half time at the Amex, but let's check in on events there. Conference League playoff qualifier, Brighton taking on Tromsø. The latest from Talk Sport's Ian Abrahams.
Brighton 3, Tromsø 0. The referee will blow any time now. Kostulas was the first to benefit from awful defending from Tromsø when he fired Brighton ahead from the edge of the penalty area. The keeper from 6 yards out followed suit not long after, and then Max Wiefer just before the 40-minute mark started and finished the move with a firing shot across the goalkeeper and into the back of the net from about 12 yards out. Brighton have been comfortable popping the ball around. Every now and again Tromsø come forward and look half dangerous, but to be fair, this tie is done and dusted as the referee blows for half time. The Amex fans will be happy. 4 goals in the first half at the weekend against Villa, 3 tonight against Tromsø. At the break, second half will be on Talk Sport 2. It is Tromsø losing here. Brighton 3, Tromsø 0.
Yeah, probably more than a foot into the Conference League for this season. Brighton and Hove Albion. One team who won't be involved in the competition is Rangers. In fact, they will not play European football at all this season. They lost their second leg away at Czech side Jablonec 1-0. It sent the tie to penalties. Finlay Curtis and James Penrice failed to convert. The travelling Rangers fans were absolutely furious at full time as they were sent out of the competition. 03717 223344 Sports Bar coming your way from 10 p.m. is going to be very interesting indeed. Rangers fans, let us know your thoughts. The Motherwell fans, by the way, far more appreciative of their players despite a 4-1 defeat to last year's Europa League runners-up Freiburg, finished 7-2 on aggregate. Shamrock Rovers also went out losing 1-0 to the Finnish side at KUPS Cups. Let's get the latest here. We're around about 22 minutes into the game at Craven Cottage. Fulham taking on AFC Wimbledon, also in the Carabao Cup second round. Let's get the latest from TalkSport's Joe Shannon.
Fulham 0, Wimbledon 0, but Wimbledon, the League One side, 23rd in League One, have just had the best chance of the game so far. Miles Hippolyte with a ball in from the left-hand side. The number 8, Callum Maycock, timing his run to perfection inside the 18-yard box, tried a sweeping left-footed effort, and it was only narrowly wide of the Fulham goalkeeper Benjamin Lecomte's left-hand post. The best chance so far for the home team, a Harrison Reed corner into the path of Kenny Tete. 6 yards out, but he was on the corner of the 6-yard box. Difficult header, tried to flick it towards goal, and it soared narrowly over the top. Fulham on the attack at the moment, on the edge of the penalty area with Moniz. He is shrugged aside by a sea of blue shirts for Wimbledon around him, but the ball is lofted back towards Moniz, and Smith Rowe hammers it wide, left-footed on the half volley. That easily the best moment of the game so far from a Fulham perspective. Emil Smith Rowe, who started on the bench against Chelsea in the Premier League on Monday night, running onto it, 12 yards out, hammers it left-footed, but he can't find the target. It is Fulham 0, Wimbledon 0.
And a couple of later scores in Conference League qualifying. Hibernian 0, Ghent 0. Goalless from the first leg. Hibernian trying to qualify for Europe for the first time in a UEFA competition. And Larne from Northern Ireland, goalless as well. Against Lincoln Red Imps, they're 2-0 up Larne from the first leg in that one. But at the break at Stamford Bridge, Chelsea 0, League One, Luton Town 0. We'll have second half commentary next here on TalkSport and get the latest on FIFA versus UEFA.
There are many reasons to listen to TalkSport's Weekend Sports Breakfast, but here are 5 for a start.
1.
Get ahead of all the big games.
2.
Keep up with the latest sports news.
3.
Have your say on the issues of the day.
4.
Get top-class pundit analysis.
5.
Get stuck into the UK's hottest rate and slate topical debate.
It is game on!
The top 5 of everything football. Sunday morning from 6 on TalkSport with a transporter from Volkswagen Commercial Vehicles. Working with you.
Get more bang for your...
That's right, none of them last long, if you know what I mean. Because 99% of Mr. Q withdrawals are instant. If yours isn't, you get a tenner. Hate us for losing, not for waiting. Mr. Q, the casino you love to hate. Withdrawals processed within 60 seconds of request. £1 credit per player per day, paid next working day. Eligibility, exclusions and T's and C's apply. 18 plus, UK customers only. Please play responsibly.
We're surrounded by alien foes. The fate of the galaxy depends on us.
Fancy a Mackies? There are daily offers waiting in the McDonald's app.
But the universe...
The main mission can wait. Unlock daily offers in the McDonald's app now. 18 plus app only. Different offers available each weekday and on weekends until the 27th of September. Check app for details. Subject to availability. Fees apply to delivery. 1 use per day.
There are many reasons people choose Bet365. For years, we've been perfecting our ultimate betting app, making it seamless and alive with possibility. Now, with more markets, more boosts, more ways to win, every detail and feature expertly built for you. We know these things matter. Bet365. We know betting. 18 plus. Please play responsibly. Visit gamcare.org.uk. T&Cs apply.
Reasons to like TalkSport. 1, 2, 3. A bit of Simon Jordan. The hottest news from F1. The latest transfer deal's done. Me.
Brownies with a swinging 70s end.
Tony Cascarino. A trip to the casino. A pint of cappuccino. Alan Brazil.
Just brilliant.
Adrian Durham. Come here if you want some. We'll bloom and take you all on TalkSport's got skills.
Don't be a blockhead. Listen to TalkSport on DAB Digital Radio 1089 and 10:53 AM on the app and on your smart speaker.
TalkSport.
Your weeknight grassy knoll to grassy knees football conspiracy kick-off.
This is Carabao Cup football live on TalkSport. I'm Hugh Wisencroft. Half-time in our commentary game between Chelsea and Luton. Currently goalless, albeit a very confident first half from Xabi Alonso's Chelsea. Morgan Rogers came closest, volleying onto the bar after a slick move down the Chelsea right-hand side. But as yet, they have not found the breakthrough. We'll have the second half for you very, very shortly indeed. Here at Craven Cottage, still goalless as well. Half an hour on the clock. Fulham building and very much dominating the game here as well, but as yet no breakthrough for them. There is a little bit of news for us to react to. Let's get the latest developments in the FIFA-UEFA hostility. It's been reported today that UEFA are preparing criminal legal action against FIFA. This is obviously a story that's going to run and run, but let's get the latest on it from TalkSport senior football correspondent Ben Jacobs.
UEFA has sent a 60-page discovery claim to the United States District Court in Florida as it prepares to take criminal action against Gianni Infantino in Switzerland related to the FIFA president's failed privatization plans known as FIFA Forward Enterprise. The petition, seen by TalkSport, asks for authorization for subpoenas for 2 US-based departments of FIFA, FIFA Americas and the 2026 World Cup, in order to gain the production of documents and communications as UEFA compiles a case against Infantino and hopes in doing so it forces him out of the FIFA presidency.
And UEFA released a statement a little bit earlier on today from their association stating that they will do everything they can legally to try and get root and branch reform at FIFA. Remember, they did, though, back away from their boycott. It means UEFA nations will be taking part in FIFA competitions for the foreseeable future. But obviously, it looks like there's going to be more pressure on Gianni Infantino in the coming weeks and months, that is for sure. We'll have more on that on breakfast, as well as reaction to the Champions League draw tomorrow. Alan Brazil, who's alongside the former Arsenal midfielder Ray Parlour for you. For all the latest, by the way, on that story, just head to TalkSport.com. And a reminder, very busy week of live football right now over on TalkSport 2. Brighton taking on Tromsø in the Conference League playoff second leg. They got a 3-0 advantage on the evening and on aggregate. Tomorrow night will be at Selhurst Park at Crystal Palace hosting Manchester City at TalkSport, exclusive in the Premier League. Over on TalkSport 2 tomorrow night, another exclusive. Pressure already on the Birmingham City boss Chris Davis after their 6-1 home defeat by Brentford in midweek. They go to Wrexham tomorrow night. Saturday lunchtime, we're back and we're at Anfield. Back-to-back defeats in League and Cup without scoring for Nottingham Forest. Oliver Glasner's side going to Liverpool Saturday lunchtime in our exclusive coverage. We'll have Game Day Live with Adrian Durham, who's alongside Scott Minto and Mark McGee from 2:30. We'll have all the latest from around the grounds, including Bournemouth's game against Everton. Commentary taking on Hull as well. West Ham, they got some confidence back by smashing Southampton in the Carabao Cup this week. They head to Watford exclusively on TalkSport 2 at 3 p.m. on Saturday. And the weekend ends with a huge game at Villa Park on Monday as the champions Arsenal come to visit. Arsenal taking on Aston Villa, who got a very, very interesting draw in the Champions League a little bit earlier on, and we will react to that a little bit later on with Leanne Sanderson, the former Arsenal and England striker, and Sam Mataface as well. But first up, we've got the second half at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea 0, Luton 0, second round of the Carabao Cup. Let's head back to Sam and Leanne for your second half commentary.
Thank you very much. And a half-time change. And off comes Gideon Kadua for Luton Town. And on comes Jake Richards for the second half. Richards, only 19 years of age, scored in Luton's first goal of the season. And we're still awaiting our first goal of the evening as the two teams come out here at Stamford Bridge for the second half. And Chelsea all in blue shirts, blue shorts, white socks, attacking the goal away to our left in the second half. And it's the orange jerseys with navy sleeves for Luton Town, navy shorts and socks, attacking the goal away to our left for the visitors from League One, who defended manfully in the first half. You had the feeling it was just a matter of time before Chelsea edged in front, but they didn't, and they have conceded the first corner of the game. Leanne Sanderson. Yeah,
I said as the game goes on, Luton Town might gain a little bit of confidence, and now shooting towards their beloved away fans down there, and they've been incredible, the Luton Town fans, as we know they are. So I just think Chelsea have too much quality, genuinely, but it's a cup tie, and as we've seen, anything is possible within these games.
Corner kick then to be taken over on the corner of the shed end and the west stand. The shed end is where the away fans are housed. It's a low ball into the near post, well read by Chavarria, who manages to get in front of Callum Marshall and clears it away. It's picked up right side again by Walsh, who delivers a ball into the box, a deep one. Johnson tries to get up there with a header. Palmer gets something on it as well, heads it behind, and it goes out for a goal kick away to our left-hand side. So these are the two lineups, the two 11s as they stand now after the change for Luton Town. It's Penders in goal for Chelsea, a back four of Gusto, Champong, Lacroix and Chavarria. James and Barco in the middle of the park with Esteban, Cole Palmer and Morgan Rogers behind Danny Welbeck in attack. And for Luton Town, back five really, with Keeley in goal, Ashby, Adolphin, Johnston, Johnson and Banega. Then from right to left, Richards, Walsh, Palmer and Emilio Lawrence behind Callum Marshall in attack. So Chelsea just keep going with the same familiar pattern, Leanne, here, waiting to wear down the resilience, the stubborn resilience of Luton Town, or do they need to try a different tactic? No,
I think they need to continue in this way. They're possessing the ball really well in those front line areas, but it is really difficult. Whenever Chelsea players get the ball, there's two or three players around them, and fair play to Luton, but I think the game will open up a little bit more, in around the 60th minute or so. potentially. We know managers like to make substitutions in and around there. Does Xabi Alonso really want to have to bring on João Pedro and Pedro Neto? Not particularly, but he might have to at some point just to freshen things up a little bit.
Well, 2/3 of Luton's goals this season have come after the break. It's become a bit of a habit now. 6 of their 9 this season. They've conceded just once after half-time so far. That was Ollie Cooper for Notts County at the weekend. 4 of the 5 that they've let in have come before the interval. Luton usually get better in the second 45. Chelsea have the ball deep inside their own half. They move it forward with Maxence Lacroix on the bench tonight. You can see Harto, Neto, Quenda all sitting there waiting to be called by the gaffer Xabi Alonso in his first home game. Omega, who was at Strasbourg and scored a lot of goals over the last couple of years, or certainly in the year before last, on the bench for Chelsea tonight after being acquired in the summer. Barco clips the ball out towards the near touchline. On to Palmer. Palmer right side of the attack. Sends it long out towards the far side looking for Rodgers, and it hit Rodgers last and goes behind and away for a goal kick. He sort of turned his back on it almost, and it ricocheted off Ashby onto the former Villa man and out and away to our right hand side. Not easy juggling all these games at the start of the season. Jack Wilshere have been pretty honest about that all week. We have to pick the team that we can, compete in the game. His team has certainly done that. They do have a game on Sunday as well, and he warned the supporters that they have to understand that, and he might have to manage a few things. Talks about having 5 games in 15 days. That's the brutal nature of the EFL and the Carabao Cup at this stage of the season. Chelsea got fewer games this season than usual with no European football. Here's Chavarria in the left fullback position, switching towards the right and looking for the slender Esteval. He sends it on to Gusto, who crosses the box, takes out the goalkeeper. Danny Welbeck rises, heads the ball home and scores on his debut for Chelsea. The first goal for Xabi Alonso's team at home this season is scored by one of their newest recruits, the old man of the team. They usually pick up youngsters, but the Chelsea pensioner is on the score sheet. Chelsea lead by 1-0. It's Danny Welbeck.
Brilliant goal. Danny Welbeck, 101 in that position. He doesn't miss. It was a lovely switch, a point of attack from Chelsea out to this right-hand side. Esteval that picks it up. It's a lovely ball in. And Gusto, what a dream that is for someone to come and attack it. 4 yards out. Danny Welbeck is not missing from there. Brilliant goal from Chelsea.
Chelsea 1, Luton 0. Switch of play out to Esteval from Chavarria on the far side. Esteval nudged it on down the right into Malagusto, got towards the byline, produced a peach of a cross, arcing the ball away from the goalkeeper. He couldn't come and claim. The ball was too high for Johnston, who was hoping to mark Danny Welbeck, who just peeled off him slightly, timed his jump to perfection, nodded the ball beyond the diving Josh Keeley, and Chelsea lead by 1-0.
Unbelievable ball from Chavarria to be able to switch it out to Esteval. And this was my concern, Sam, that if, you know, Luton didn't, they've come out, to be fair to them, and tried to play, and which has then left, you know, spaces exposed for Chelsea to capitalise on, and that's the difference in the quality of the players that Chelsea do have. So it'll be interesting to see now what Luton do, that they have to score because they're going to try and continue to push, but then Chelsea, I feel like, can take it up another gear or two.
They're trying to come forward now with Barco, dispossessed by Casey Palmer on the halfway line. Barco chasing, but Palmer trying to get away from him, nudges it towards the left-hand side. Almost fell into the path of Emilio Lawrence. And Lawrence gets it back from another youngster in Vanega and then tries to take on Gusto. Pinches the ball, finds James, who in turn finds Welbeck, the goal scorer. Rodgers back out wide towards Esteval, collects it brilliantly, and now Chelsea got space going forward, and Palmer is in the inside right channel, getting away from Johnson, stops the ball inside the box. Maybe he should have played it to Rodgers a little bit earlier, waited, held on to it, now tries to turn Johnson, gets to the byline, takes a deflection, goes behind, it's out for a corner.
Yeah, slight delay there from Cole Palmer. It looked like he was going to just take a shot across goal, and then he delayed it. It's gone out for a corner. But I think, you know, Chelsea, they've just started the second half how they ended the first. High pressing, possessing the ball. Difference is they've been able to put the ball in the back of the net.
Off to Fulham in just a second, but Chelsea have a corner with Esteval. Now Palmer back to James. Oh, they're supposed to go back to Palmer, but it was a poor pass and Palmer ran past it. Esteval then shuts the ball down as Callum Marshall tries to get it forward. It goes out for a throw in to Luton in the left full-back position. So let's go off to Craven Cottage. TalkSport's Joe Shannon is there.
Fulham 1, Wimbledon 0. Emil Smith-Rowe from close range after Ryan Sessegnon had knocked down Kenny Tete's cross. Fulham 1, Wimbledon 0.
Fulham beaten by Chelsea on Monday night. Alvaro Arbeloa's team, though, playing high-energy football and looking like they might be quite entertaining over the course of the season. And one of the features of the early few matches that I've been to anyway, Leanne, has been that some of the teams have really been at it and playing that high-tempo, aggressive football and look really ready for the season. And other teams really have looked a bit off the pace.
Yeah, I mean, this season's probably the most unpredictable season, apart from the fact people are tipping Arsenal to win the league. 9 new managers in the Premier League. I understand what you said about Arbeloa, but I do think on Monday night they were susceptible to conceding, weren't they? Not just because they conceded 3, but they looked a little bit all over the place in that backline area.
Yeah, I think you're going to get a bit of both from them. Here's Casey Palmer trying to get beyond Gusto and Esteval, who was pulled back eventually and gets the free kick. A bit like Newcastle United, actually, you know, conceding and scoring in equal measure. That does make for an entertaining watch, doesn't it? We're here for the entertainment. Oh, Casey Palmer is too. He's just giving the ball away to Cole Palmer rather cheaply, and Palmer trundles down the right-hand side. He gets into a crossing position. He sets it up towards Morgan Rogers, who was coming in on the back of the defender, and he pushed it off in the back, gives away a free kick. Not sure that was necessary.
It was interesting as well because Casey Palmer did really well, and the Luton Town fans were booing behind the goal and going crazy because they wanted the advantage to be played, and then he takes the set piece and plays a square pass. I mean, we all do that, but I think in a game like this, you might get away with it in League One, that's no disrespect, but in a game like tonight with the quality players, Morgan Rogers didn't really need to make that foul, but you can see Chelsea in this second half are coming heavily down this right-hand side and are getting a lot of joy of being able to deliver the balls in the box.
Very different for Jack Wilshere and Luton Town tonight. They're usually a team that build from the back and play out. They haven't done that tonight. They've gone long, as they have just done, from a goal kick right up the middle of the pitch. And one of the things that has caught them out a couple of times, they've given away a couple of goals from sloppy playing out from the back, gifting possession over to the opponents who were pressing them as they tried to build from the back. But it's a non-negotiable tactic in the league for Jack Wilshere. He has been adaptable enough to try and change that tonight in order to try and prevent any further damage, and they're trying to come forward here, but a Champong read the pass from Liam Walsh and picked it off and played it to Esteval, who rolls past the defender Johnson, who was tugging at him and pulling him down, and then earns the first yellow card of the game.
Yeah, I mean, brilliant play again from Esteval. Johnson just couldn't keep near him, and then, to be fair, it was a shirt pull, so it is a booking. It wasn't actually for the tackle initially, it was probably for the shirt pull. Fantastic play from Esteval again.
And this is the 20th League Cup tie that Chelsea have played against lower league opposition since 2009, and they've won every one so far, and they're winning this one by 1-0. The goal coming from Danny Welbeck, his first goal in Chelsea blue. And here is Maxence Lacroix. Here is Morgan Rogers into Barco, then back out to Chavarria, on to Morgan Rogers once again, and then Barco sends it further wide, level with the edge of the Luton Town penalty area. Barco back infield to Lacroix, who snaps it up to Palmer, well intercepted by Dauphin, who got in front of Cole Palmer. And Liam Walsh brings it away out towards the far side, and Luton try to just take a little bit of pressure off the defence by just holding the ball for a few moments. Brighton 3-0 up in their conference playoff against Tromsø. It means they'll be going through to the league phase, which is good for them. Rangers won't be, they're out of Europe, and that certainly will be a talking point tomorrow when we get together at 10 o'clock. If you want to hear the conclusion of that Brighton game, by the way, it's over on Talk Sport 2 right now with Alex Crook and Mark McGee, who I heard had a very good dinner before they went to the Brighton game. I mean, I think he'll probably tell us. You've got
spies everywhere, haven't you?
Tomorrow. And actually, he will tell you who cooked it for him as well, which is also an interesting turn of events. Here is Esteval on this near touchline, trying to get down the right, but he's blocked off by Banega. Plays it infield instead to James, and now a Champong inside the centre circle. Barco has it. forward to James again in the inside right channel. Off to Fulham for a goal in just a few moments. But the ball is with Gusto, then James, and then on to Palmer, edge of the box, just dropping a little bit deeper now. Chelsea keeping possession, and maybe this will be the period where you see the League One limbs start to tire. Barco finding Lacroix, back to Barco again. Chelsea just nudging the ball around at will, and then Gusto fires it forward and gives it straight to Liam Walsh. It was a really poor ball. He ends up losing it to Danny Welbeck, who comes back and nabs it, and Chelsea have it again on the halfway line. Goal at Fulham, Joe Shannon.
Dominant Fulham 2, Wimbledon 0. Rodrigo Muniz with a thumping header this time from Kenny Tete's excellent cross. No sign of an upset here, Sam. Fulham 2, Wimbledon 0.
Interesting season for Rodrigo Muniz, having seen Gonzalo Garcia come in and take his place in the team. Maybe would have thought that after the departure of Jimenez, he might have got a bigger and better run in the side, but it's a bit of an issue if you haven't scored a league goal since the opening day of last season. And Gonzalo Garcia got off to a very good start, but he's off and running once again for the season, Rodrigo Muniz, as Fulham take a healthy lead in their game against Wimbledon. Chelsea looking to try and book a place in round 3 to take on Leeds United. They lead by a goal to 0 here. Xabi Alonso just standing in the technical area as Cole Palmer picks the ball up, sends it on to Welbeck, who strikes across the goalkeeper but dragged it. And I'm not entirely sure whether he was aiming for the bottom corner or trying to find Esteval, who's coming in at the far post, but either way it was betwixt and between the both and went out for a goal kick away to our right.
From what I can see, Sam, I think he was going for a shot, and that's why he kind of signalled to Esteval and Morgan Rogers and Cole Palmer that was underneath as well. Good positioning again from Danny Welbeck. I mean, the fact that this guy's 35 years old, he's played for Man United, Arsenal and Chelsea, and I still feel like people don't hate him. Isn't that crazy to think?
Don't hate him.
Because you know when a player goes
Have
like,
you just
like
heard
Sterling,
what they've been singing here? They've been singing a Danny Welbeck song. He's only been here 59 minutes.
But he's that type of guy that, like, I feel like he's... Everyone, I don't know,
Everyone loves him.
Yeah, which is kind of unique.
He's got a brilliant personality. I remember doing an interview with him down in a cafe in Brighton about a year and a half ago. He's just an infectious character. He really is just fun to be around. He's always smiling. I saw him actually today in the team hotel, and he was just in great spirits. Here's Gusto's cross into the box, cleared away by a Dauphin, and then it's up towards the midway point of the Luton half, and they're trying to escape here, and Casey Palmer certainly showing his robustness, but then beaten to it by Reece James, and it breaks out towards this near side. Luton about to make some changes. Isaiah Jones on and Harry Fox about to come on in the next few moments as they shuffle their pack. Good turn by Rogers onto Esteval, edge of the D, trying to get a shot away. Good challenge by Johnson, and then there's a free kick gone against Chelsea there. And the referee's going to allow the substitutions to take place. Going to be a busy couple of days for Luton Town. Mansfield away on Sunday at 3. It's moved from Saturday because of tonight's game. The Stockport game at home next Wednesday night. Leighton Orient at home on Saturday the 5th of September. Then Stevenage away on Thursday the 10th at 8 o'clock. Brighton here on Sunday at 2 o'clock for Chelsea. Arsenal away on Sunday the 6th of September at 4:30. Crookie and I will be there for that. Then Brentford away on Friday the 18th of September at 8 o'clock live on Talk Sport. Interesting. Half-time at Fulham, Joe Shannon.
Fulham 2, Wimbledon 0. Fulham comfortable, 2 close-range headers, Smith-Rowe's glancer and a thumping effort from Muniz. Wimbledon came close through Callum Maycock, but his effort went just wide. Fulham 2, Wimbledon 0.
Emilio Lawrence has come off. Isaiah Jones has come on. The other change is Benny Benega. He has been switched out for Harry Fox in a double change for Jack Wilshere's side.
Looks like Chelsea, Pedro Neto has been warming up pretty vigorously since half-time, and Lavia as well, so potentially could see some Chelsea substitutions as well, maybe João Pedro.
Well, Neto needs to make sure that he warms up properly, because otherwise Reece James will be in his ear. Here is Jones on the near touchline. Back infield it goes to Casey Palmer, and then a bit of a loose touch actually from Harry Fox. And that almost precipitated a opportunity to break for Danny Welbeck. Cameras focusing in on the face of Robert Sanchez. I wonder what the future will hold for him. I mean, the problem is, when you have a series of errors like he's had, the spotlight is obviously going to be on you as the ball goes in from Luton from the right-hand side looking for Marshall. Barco gets there, but Marshall's got it back edge of the area. Harry Fox now left side of the box, and Luton trying to find a way to get back into this game. Isaiah Jones drags a shot low towards the near post, and it's well wide of the goal. The problem is when you make a mistake like he did on Monday night, and he had a series of those, people tend to remember those more than they remember anything else that you've done. And obviously, I think Chelsea accept they probably need to get a more established goalkeeper if they want to go and challenge for top honours. But it must be a bit of a humiliating experience for him tonight, sitting on the bench, knowing everyone's looking at him, and Emi Martinez is coming through the door tomorrow.
I do feel for him because, at the end of the day, he's been at the club now for 4 seasons, and it's the managers that keep putting him in. And he's not been anywhere near good enough. Sometimes...
Chavarria finds Welbeck edge of the area. Palmer looking to play in Esteval. Off radar.
When Enzo Maresca was here, he liked to play out from the back, and Sanchez isn't good with his feet, so it was all a bit strange, really. But you do need a top quality goalkeeper.
Esteval rolls his studs over the ball, and a little back heel in towards Palmer. Palmer back to Gusto. Gusto on the edge of the box, plays it infield to James. Back to Gusto with a chance to cross. He declines that invitation. Palmer comes infield, looks up. He does cross, not high enough to reach Welbeck. Flicked away by Johnston. It's dropped on the edge of the box, and Palmer has hit it. First time, left-footed, trying to curl it into the far corner. It was narrowly wide. He thinks it took a flick of a defender on the way through. But if that had got in the corner of the net, it would have been an absolute rasper.
Unbelievable play from Cole Palmer. I mean, it looked like it hit the crossbar as he was trying to claim for a deflection, but it was a beautiful strike just from the edge of the box. I was waiting for the net to ripple. It was brilliant play.
That was brilliant. He hit it on the run as well. Such a good hit. Here is Rodgers, who's also hit the crossbar today. Ball sent long up to Welbeck, who drops in, links the play well. I think he's the fact that he's been harassing and causing problems for the defence, moving all over the place, working himself into the ground. Welbeck endears him to the supporters, which is why they were singing his name earlier on. The fact that he's scored the only goal of the match so far also helps as well. But that was some hit from Cole Palmer.
It's unbelievable. Do you know what else makes me laugh? The fact that they call Esteval Steve, and they're saying Steve every time he touches the ball. It makes me laugh.
Yes.
I bet he didn't think if he came to England he'd be called Steve.
I did clip the top of the crossbar, by the way, I think, just the back of it. Here is Palmer. Now, under the watchful gaze of Thomas Tuchel, who's here tonight, keeping an eye on proceedings, the former Chelsea manager. Out wide it goes to Esteval, or Steve, who tries a little flick. Oh, lovely, gets it over the top of the defender, but can't keep it in. And he gets a round of applause from the crowd away to our right. In Brazilian, they tell me that the way he would pronounce his name would be Esteval. So that's I think where the Steve comes from.
No, I think it's just because he's in England. I feel like Dave or something.
Well, they used to call Cesar Azpilicueta Dave because they couldn't say his name.
No, that's just a liberty. But going back to Esteval, do you know what I think why he's been so good since he come to England? Because he's not lightweight, Sam. He's got a lot of strength on him as well. He goes past players, and I think he's so exciting. And just going back to what you were saying about Thomas Tuchel being here and Cole Palmer, I know they're only 2 games into the season. Obviously, this is a cup game as well. But Cole Palmer looks like the Cole Palmer from the season before last. Yeah. Everything about him.
Much better. Here is Isaiah Jones, substitute for Luton, getting down the left-hand side, approaching the Chelsea box, leaving it for Palmer, who fizzes one. Casey Palmer just wide of the right hand upright. That would have been a special goal for him coming back to Stamford Bridge. And he wasn't too far away from getting Luton level. And actually, it's worth pointing out, with the possibility of penalties if it's level at 90 minutes, Luton's still very much in this game. It's only 1-0, Leanne.
Yeah, definitely. It was a great opportunity there on the edge of the box. Casey Palmer just looked like he dragged it a little bit, but he's getting into those good spots.
Substitutions then for Chelsea, 3 of them. And Reece James is coming off. Pedro Neto is coming on. Going to see Jarell Harto as well come onto the pitch. And that's the end of the day for Gusto. Might be a switch over the other side for Chavarria. And Romeo Lavia is coming on. And he replaces Morgan Rodgers. So a bit of a switch around for Chelsea. And 3 on, so Lavia will go into where James was playing. Neto will go wide out on the left. Chavarria will go to right back now, and Jarell Harto will play at left back.
I like Lavia a lot, but I think the number one question is, can he stay fit and healthy, and can he get through 90 minutes? I remember we did that game a couple of years ago, Sam, at the Emirates when he was at Southampton. I remember thinking, what a player, when he was on loan from City. And like, that game was crazy in itself, but he's a real good player. But it's just, if he can stay fit and healthy, is he 90 minutes fit? Doesn't look like that from time to time, but I love him as a player.
Yeah, it's been another injury interrupted period, isn't it? Last season, only 900 minutes and 20 games for Romeo Lavia. A ball out of play on this near touchline. Throw in about to come in from Joshua Champong. Again, untroubled Joshua Champong so far. Actually, he's the one who's gone out to right back, and they've all just shuffled across a bit, and Harto has gone to left centre back, which is interesting. So Champong's come out towards this right hand side. He did play at right back a couple of times last season. Here is Valentin Barco, further out to the left now. Pep Chavarria has made a run on the inside left position. Pedro Neto is trying to find Cole Palmer. Here is Chavarria, and on to Pedro Neto. He's in behind the defence, produces a cross, didn't pull it back to anyone in blue, only found an orange shirt. It was tidied up by Johnston. Palmer wanted a free kick just before that. The referee was right to play the advantage because Neto continued his run down the left, and he probably should have done better with his cross into the box, Leanne Sanderson.
Yeah, I think it was a correct decision from the referee. Jake Richards breathed a sigh of relief because he went straight down the back of Cole Palmer's Achilles. You can see Cole Palmer trying to have a conversation with the referee as well. Yes, play the advantage, but I do think that's probably a booking. And you're right, Sam, Pedro Neto did well to get down that left-hand side, and a better ball on the pullback. Chelsea would have probably had their second.
Brighton leading by 3-0 against Tromsø. They're going through the group phase of the Conference League. Commentary continues on TalkSport 2. Rangers are out of Europe tonight. It's a bad result for them. Fulham cruising in their game down at Craven Cottage against Wimbledon. They'll be going through to the next round of the competition. Crystal Palace, Manchester City, live tomorrow night on TalkSport. That's an exclusive. At the same time on TalkSport 2, it's Wrexham against Birmingham. On Saturday lunchtime, it's Liverpool, Nottingham Forest. Oliver Glasner looking for his first win as Forest boss away at Liverpool. They have a good record there. And Watford West Ham is at 3 o'clock on TalkSport 2 as Adrian takes you around the grounds between 2:30 and 5:30 with Scott Minto and Mark McGee. 1:30 Sunday, Game Day Live. We've got 3 Premier League games. I'll be bringing you the fastest goal service around. Live from Old Trafford, where Manchester United take on Ipswich. Here is Isaiah Jones trying to take on a Champon. Brilliant defending by him. Exquisite timing for the tackle. Then he's nudged off the ball in the right fullback position, and a free kick is given in his favour, Leanne.
Yeah, fantastic defending. Champon, I think, has had a really, really good game within this game, and I think it's definitely a position. Chelsea look a little bit more solid. I was mentioning their fragilities on Monday night, but I think with the type of football that Xabi Alonso wants to play, it's more expansive. But you can be expansive against certain teams, but against the better side, they've got a couple of really difficult games coming up. Sam, you mentioned there, Brighton at the weekend, then they go to the Emirates, and I'm really looking forward to that one, because that is where, I know it's early in the season and no one's peaking yet, but that's where I think you'll get a true reflection of where Chelsea are at. And I'm excited for that one.
Yeah, Xabi Alonso up against Mikel Arteta. Chelsea going to the Emirates to take on Arsenal in just a couple of weeks' time, in fact 10 days' time. Very much looking forward to that little trip. Here is Chavarria far side, into Barco. Barco out to Chavarria again. Bit of space for the Spaniard, who guides it out towards the left-hand side, gives it to Neto, gets it back again, tries to get away from Harrison Ashby, who's defended quite well at times today. And the ball's out of play and away for a throw to Chelsea over on the far side. They are going to add João Pedro into the mix here, Chelsea. It might be the end of the night for Danny Welbeck, we'll see. But if he does end the night tonight, he ends the night with a goal, which is always good when you're making your first appearance for a new club. Ever score on your debut?
I scored on my game back after injury for Juventus, and I'd been out for a year and a half.
Oh,
and I did score on my debut actually for Arsenal against Fulham.
Did you?
Yeah, I remember it. I was on Sky Sports that night, and I remember watching it on repeat and then going to school the next day.
How old were you?
14.
Crikey.
So only a few years ago. Only 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Wish I could say that.
Sky Sports started then. Substitution for Chelsea.
Danny Welbeck comes off to a standing ovation. Hard work, superb pressing, and a goal on his debut to celebrate, and he's replaced by João Pedro. And I think because he took too long to come off the pitch, in fact what he didn't do was come off at the nearest point. João Pedro has been told he's not allowed to come on for a minute because Welbeck took too long, so Chelsea are down to 10 players for a minute.
Which are the new rules.
Are the new rules, but the referee not standing on ceremony there. It wasn't like he took ages to get off either. He did actually run. It's just because he didn't go off at the nearest exit.
I was thinking that, like, we're going to start seeing players like sprinting off, like Bolt, so then they don't have to be penalised. But they are the new rules, and that's the reality.
João Pedro now being held up, and he's been asked to go and put a bib back on whilst he stands there as well, which also seems a little bit unnecessary. It's not like you don't know what's going to happen next, fourth official. Oh dear.
And you'd like to think the players are professional footballers, they're not going to pass to him because they think he's one of their teammates because he's in the same colour shirt. You know, this isn't like non-league football, do you know what I mean?
I don't think that happens at non-league football.
It's true.
Here is Lavia. Back in field to Barco. It's a little bit officious by the refereeing team there, you feel. Lacroix back to the left, out to Lavia. Eventually we will see the arrival of João Pedro, but not quite yet. And he's still waiting on the sidelines. Luton have the ball deep inside their own half. We've got 17 minutes to go on TalkSport. Still we're awaiting João Pedro because they have to wait for a stoppage now to get him on. Xabi Alonso's going absolutely mad. He's saying, any chance, lads, that you could win the ball back so you can kick it out?
Imagine the timing of this though, Sam. We haven't seen Luton Town really possess the ball in this way. And to be fair to them, they defended really well, but they haven't possessed the ball for this long.
Esteval chasing down the right-hand side. Across goes Johnson. Esteval, I think, just committed the foul there to stop the game. And now we get João Pedro on, and yes, the referee is being alerted to the fact that he might have been a little bit too, how shall we say, meticulous. Well, João Pedro had a great start to his life in the number 9. The number 9 shirt over the years has been a bit of a curse for Chelsea, but he scored after 31 seconds of wearing it.
Brilliant goal as well. Really, really good goal. I know people could say it's only a number, but I don't really like how that all went down with the Liam Delap. I know he's gone on to Forest now, and I think he's still got a lot to offer. Massive price tag, 50 mil. But the fact that he got given that number whilst Liam Delap was still there, I don't know.
It wasn't just sending a message that it was time to leave, no?
Yeah, I know, but it's still, you know, I think with footballers, people think they're like...
Esteval cuts in from the left-hand side, tries a shot, hits the face of Johnston and breaks away to the right-hand side. Chelsea had a lot of possession in this game. Only the one goal to show for it so far, and as we go into the final 15 minutes, that might be a bit of an issue. What number did you wear when you were at Chelsea?
10.
It's a good number, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Here is Neto over on the far side into Barco. 18 yards back from the edge of the area. 2 changes incoming for Luton. They're going to throw on another striker. Here's Palmer up to Esteval, short of the penalty area. Again, Luton banked on the edge of the box. That's where they've been for most of the night, really. Chelsea have had a lot of ball in the middle strip of the Luton half. Only sporadically managed to force Keeley into action. Here's Barco, edge of the area onto Palmer, rolling his marker, turning away, driving down the left-hand side, getting into the box, trying to square it. I think it could have been a shot, actually. It was blocked by a Dauphin and cleared away. Sometimes tonight I just think that maybe he's tried to do a bit too much. Cole Palmer, Neto wins the ball over on the far side, fizzes the ball through the 18-yard box. It took a deflection off of an orange shirt, should go out for a corner.
Yeah, I agree with you on that part. I think at times as well, because he's holding on to the ball, I mean, the ball is sticking to him and Esteval like glue, but at the same time, against these types of plays, you're going to draw the foul and you're going to get hurt. You can see him kind of walking around the pitch limping, like he's not got to go off, but he is taking a few hits.
Interesting, isn't it, watching João Pedro now have a word in the ear of Pedro Neto. Pedro Neto, who was given a little bit of a rollicking from Reece James, he's sort of suggested maybe that he might want to leave this summer, but Chelsea are going to allow that to happen. Esteval into the centre, headed away by Johnston. It goes out of play and it's level with the edge of the penalty area. I think when you haven't got a move that maybe you wanted, there's always a sort of little bit of a lull after that, isn't there? And the Chelsea players certainly trying to encourage Pedro Neto. Well, 2 players coming off Luton, and the Luton officials say, well, you better hurry up and do it just in case. And they haven't gone off at the nearest junction either. Marshall's come off, and Casey Palmer has come off too, and Devontae Cole has come on. So 2 forward players, because Naki Wells has come on as well. So maybe a little shift around in their formation, throwing 2 up front for the last
why not?
Few minutes of the game.
1-0 still, which is quite surprising to me, because Chelsea have dominated this game really from start to now. But as long as the game goes on like this, I'm sure Jack Wilshere would be thinking 1-0 down, 78th minute, why not?
Here's Liam Walsh, dispossessed by Valentin Barco. He's got Palmer ahead of him. Palmer takes over now. Esteval's to the right, gets into the area, goes on the outside, drives the ball towards goal, hits the defender and goes into the net. Esteval will claim it. It might go down as an own goal off a Dauphin, but Chelsea lead by 2-0. A bit of skill and trickery which set up the chance for Esteval. He drove the ball through the 6-yard box from the right side of the area, angled it towards the far post. A Dauphin was trying to clear it, he couldn't, and he rammed it into the roof of his own net, and it's Chelsea 2, Luton 0.
Brilliant play again from Chelsea, excellent from Esteval. I think the ball was already in the back of the net from what I could see when a Dauphin kind of kicked it in. You could see he was trying to recover, but Esteval's been excellent tonight, deserves that goal, does a little step over. Fullback's got no chance, quite an acute angle. The fans absolutely love him, great finish.
Pep Chavarria coming off on this near side to get some instruction. Is he running off to be replaced? No, Esteval's coming off now, going off at the nearest junction, being shoved off by the referee. Go on, ref, you take charge, mate. Why don't you make it all about you?
Sorry, I mean, he's just celebrating the goal and the ref is like on top of him, literally ushering him off the pitch. Come on, Sam.
God.
This is embarrassing. What is going on? He's just celebrating with the Chelsea fans.
Hey, I think it's Esteval's spotlight, fella, not yours. Come on. I'm sure Ray Parlour and Alan Brazil will have something to say about that tomorrow. 6 till 10. Breakfast show back tomorrow. I did get a text message earlier saying, would you come in with the boys at 9:30? Always love going in there. They're a fun little pair. That's tomorrow, 6 o'clock when you wake up. Alan Brazil and Ray Parlour on the TalkSport Sports Breakfast. And tonight, you might want to have your say. 03717 223344. I saw Jason Cundy a little bit earlier on tonight. I was just having a chat with him at half-time. I think he's very happy about Emi Martinez. I think he'll talk about that with Jamie O'Hara. 03717 223344. Of course, Jamie wasn't on last night when Tottenham actually won.
I know, I said to Jace before, I said, you better get a jog on. He went, hopefully it don't go to pens.
10 minutes to go. It was a 7:30 kickoff tonight. He can do it. Here is Palmer. Palmer looking to release a Champong down this right-hand side. Doesn't reach him. It's Johnson stepping in to intercept for Luton Town. Joe Johnson getting the ball away. All of the possession has been with Chelsea. Luton have defended well, though, and I think Jack Wilshere will look at this as a performance that they won't be typical. It won't be a typical performance that they come up with every single week, because they will have a lot more of the ball. They're a free-flowing football team who like to play out from the back in League One. But he'll learn about the character of the team tonight, won't he?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's interesting because how Esteval's goal came about was the ball was at Liam Walsh's feet and he held on to it for a bit too long. And that's the difference between Premier League, Championship and League One. It's the intensity. It's not necessarily always the quality. It's the way you move the ball. I think Liam Walsh has done all right tonight, but the one time, you know, he got caught on the ball and you've seen him giving it away again. These things happen. Chelsea punished them.
Hato trying to win the ball over on the far side. The ball half cleared by the Dutchman and then taken out towards the right-hand side. Chelsea 2, Luton 0. Chelsea going through to a date with Leeds United, the way it stands. And a fascinating encounter. Those two played a cup tie last year, didn't they? Chelsea and Leeds, renewing the rivalry of the 70s. FA Cup final in 1970. A few other big Hefty collisions between Dom Rebby's team and that Dave Sexton back in the day. Here is Pedro Neto, now on the right for Chelsea because Giddins has gone out to the left-hand side. Ball travelling down the right, quite getting to a crossing position. It's out of play and away for a goal kick for Luton Town.
You know, before, Sam, you were talking about Pedro Neto and kind of wanting to move away. I was seeing some of the figures that were being linked, and I'm thinking
100 million.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Like, I think he's a good player, but I don't see this like game changer. Do you know what I mean? That's going to win you a Premier League. I don't see that. I think he's a good player, but 100 million, of course no one's going to take him for that. I know it's the modern market, but that's a bit too excessive for me.
Well, Chelsea obviously want to keep him, which is why they've quoted such an extortionate price. I think he's a little bit reluctant to play as a wing-back, but if Xabi Alonso is going to mix it up and play a 4 at times, then there are sort of situations where he will fit into the team. The problem they've got at Chelsea is they've got a lot of players and not many games, and that's going to frustrate a few over the course of the campaign, I think.
That is true, but as we saw last year with Manchester United, with less games, it almost allows you to kind of focus on the Premier League a little bit more, especially with the squad depth they do have. I mean, I know...
Well, Chelsea aren't going out to Grimsby tonight, so right. They'll have a few more games.
Yeah, true.
Did you forget about that one?
No, I haven't, because I remember coming on with you and Crookie the next day when I was in Ibiza, and you said, will you come on? Need you. I said, oh, shock. Do you want me to come on your show now? Man United have lost. The tactics ball with Ruben Amorim. Thankfully, those days are gone.
That sounds like I was rubbing it in. I wouldn't have done that.
No, not you.
6 minutes to go before the end of the game.
I still came on though, didn't I?
You did.
Listen, I'm not a fair weather fan. You've got to stick by your team right. No matter what.
So Manchester United have been brilliant under Michael Carrick up until last weekend, and they, I'm sure, will be much better this weekend when we go off to Old Trafford on Sunday to bring you the Game Day Live show from there. Looking forward to going. Brighton, certainly no such frustrations for them tonight. They're going through. Here's Ian Abrahams.
Brighton 3, Tromso 0, 12 minutes to go. They could have had a fourth about 5 minutes ago. Biscardi had the ball in the back of the net, but it was ruled out for offside. Otherwise, it's been a fairly flat second half. Last 12 minutes are on TalkSport 2, Brighton 3, Tromso 0.
And what's happening at Fulham? And here's Joe Shannon.
It's still Fulham 2, Wimbledon 0. Those first half goals from Smith Rowe and Moniz have Fulham comfortable. Moniz has just tried an acrobatic overhead kick from 6 yards, but it was just over the top. Fulham 2, Wimbledon 0.
Here is Nagi Wells, far side, 36 years of age, but still the sharpest tool in Luton's box. Plays the ball back into midfield. Liam Walsh has it now. Back out wide it goes again. Liam Walsh turns, tries to nudge it through to the edge of the area. Devontae Cole is alive, but he doesn't get on the end of it. It's prodded away. Devontae Cole, by the way, the son of Andy Cole. He's had a few good seasons in the EFL, Devontae Cole. Here on the left-hand side, Harry Fox comes forward for Luton, trailing by 2-0 at Stamford Bridge. Crossed into the box by Isaiah Jones. He hits the first man. And João Pedro just chasing it down, trying to win it back for Chelsea, and successfully did so. Then the bounce of the ball went against him. And it was tidied up by Liam Walsh once more. Well, Chelsea progressing through to the next round of the competition. Luton going to go out again at this stage, but they'll be concentrating on that match on Sunday against Mansfield. That's all important for Jack Wilshere, who want to get them promoted.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, back-to-back relegations from the Premier League. I mean, their story's been unbelievable, to be honest, and I think the first 2 games of the season, a draw and a win, they came back against Reading. They do know how to come from behind. Ideally, Jack Wilshere would rather than be up, but yeah, definitely the focus this year. I'll be very surprised if they don't get out of League One.
Fulham will end up going away to West Ham in the next round of the competition if they progress, which it looks at the moment like they're going to. Chelsea going to take on Leeds United. Some mouth-watering ties in the next round of the competition, including Liverpool against Spurs. Labby has just missed a tackle on halfway, and that's allowed Isaiah Jones for Luton to escape. But Pedro Neto, tracking back, gets back into the right full-back position and wins the ball for Chelsea. I wonder if Reece James has just stood up in the dugout and given him a clap.
Another player we haven't even mentioned is supposed to be back this weekend as well is Caicedo. You know, we talk about the squad depth of this Chelsea side. Like, Chelsea fans, I think, can feel really, really happy when I feel like they're finally putting together a really good squad.
Well, they've absolutely bossed this game, and they're now almost going through the motions, playing the ball around on halfway, toying with Luton Town. Big game against Brighton. They will make more changes. You mentioned Moy Caicedo. They hope he's going to be back for the weekend. Missed the opener against Fulham. Jamie Gittings back in the squad tonight. Season was ended by injury last year. Lavia fit. Esteval back after picking up a season-ending injury. They've got a lot of weapons in their arsenal, Chelsea. Deploying them and when and how to do so is the job of the new manager, and he is very much the manager, Xabi Alonso, who's going to get off to a double winning start. Here is Neto down the near side, flicking the ball into the centre, looking for Cole Palmer, gets it under control inside the penalty area, then runs out the other side, then turns and looks up. Once again, complete command of the football, strolling around the park. He's running the joint, isn't he, Cole Palmer?
Yeah, I mean, the touch, the balance, the way the ball sticks to him like glue. I love Cole Palmer. I could watch him all day long. I don't think it matters what team you support. I love watching quality footballers, and no doubt he has quality in abundance.
Harto giving the ball away far side, but Jamie Gittings has won it back very quickly. Gittings runs laterally, gives it to Barco. Barco chipping the ball to the far post. A Champong with a header! Oh, he's missed the target. I think it was offside anyway. The flag went up very quickly on the near touchline, but the ball floated in by Valentin Barco. It was a peach of a ball, and a Champong just needed to prod it towards the target. He went for the far post trying to catch out the goalkeeper, and he missed the target.
Yeah, I think Valentin Barco's had a really good game. It was a fantastic ball. I mean, the Champong didn't know he was offside, definitely trying to go across goal. But I think when he saw the assistant referee put the flag up, it was like a sigh of relief, Sam, because he should have put the ball in the back of the net. But brilliant ball from Barco.
1 minute of normal time to play. Chelsea leading by 2-0. League Cup going to probably be important for Chelsea. Certainly was important for Luton Town. 1988 when they won it, their golden period. 95,000 at Wembley. Les Sealey was injured, so Andy Dibble played his first game in the competition. In the final, he saved a penalty. Brian Steen put them ahead, then scored the winner in the last minute. Sensational. And Mick Harford, who was a big part of the team the next year that got to the final and lost to Forest, is here tonight, and he's a former Chelsea number 9. Here's the current Chelsea number 9. João Pedro down the right for Chelsea, controlling the ball, running infield. He's got options to his left. He keeps hold of it, then eventually plays it out towards Jamie Gittins. Has to stretch to reach that on the left angle of the penalty area. He guides it back towards Jarell Harto. Harto plays it infield, and Romeo Lavia looks up, shuffles it on to Lacroix, and again Luton forced back to the edge of the penalty area. Champong, Neto, a Champong again. Going to be 4 added minutes at the end of the 90. Here is Lacroix. A couple of steps forward, out towards the right, on towards Neto. Neto cuts infield onto his left foot, gives it to Palmer. Chelsea looking for the icing on the cake at the end of the game here. Gittins on towards Palmer, inside the area, shot comes back to João Pedro, double save by the goalkeeper after Palmer's initial effort. It's a brilliant stop by Josh Keeley, who reacted superbly. Gittins down the left, on towards the edge of the penalty area, found Palmer. Palmer managed to get it out of his feet, shot towards goal, saved and spilt by Keeley, got straight back up and stopped João Pedro from popping it in.
Brilliant save from Josh Keeley. To be fair to João Pedro, he looked like he was quite off balance, but the way that Keeley was going the opposite direction and saved it with his left hand, it was a brilliant save. Excellent double save from him.
Excellent stop from a highly rated goalkeeper, Irish international, formerly of Spurs. Tottenham signing from St Patrick's Athletic. Luton bought him for £1 million. 13 clean sheets last season for Luton Town, and back in May he won his first ever Ireland cap as well. Chelsea coming forward in the last few seconds with Jamie Gittins powering over halfway at speed. He gets into the penalty area. He's got support. Palmer wants it. Gittins goes alone. Hits the inside of the post, and it comes back out into the open penalty area, and it evades every blue shirt. Cleared away by Luton. It's not the first time that Chelsea have hit the woodwork tonight. Might be the last, but that was a brilliant run by Jamie Gittins.
Excellent run from Gittins. To be fair to Odofun, he actually lost his foot in last minute. But yeah, it was excellent play, so dynamic. You know, you could see what Luton were trying to do because they were trying to delay, Gittins. He was on his own out on that left-hand side. They're in their back three. And to be fair, their legs just look like they've gone. And Luton have defended this entire game, and fair play, it's not been an embarrassment for them. I think their fans will be really proud of how they've put themselves about in this game. They've competed, they've worked with what's in front of them, but the quality of Chelsea's just shone through.
2 minutes to go, stoppage time. Chelsea just minutes away from 2 games, 2 wins under Xabi Alonso. Given away by João Pedro. Chelsea win it back quickly, and we can go to the Amex for a goal at Brighton.
Brighton 4, Tromsø 0 for the second game running. Brighton hit 4 at home. Pascaglia, who had one disallowed for offside, is the man who's got the 4th late on. It's Brighton 4, Tromsø 0.
Ian Abrahams down at the Amex Stadium for us tonight. Here's Isaiah Jones for Luton into the penalty area. Comes off of a champon, goes out for a late corner. I think maybe this game is expected to go Chelsea's way. In fact, it was expected to go Chelsea's way, but you still got to get the job done, and they've done that tonight.
Yeah, definitely. And I think they can only play what's in front of them. And to be fair to Luton, they defended really, really well. And it's difficult for a team like Chelsea to be able to break that through. But it only took them 5 minutes into the second half. I was quite surprised we didn't see more goals in the first half. But fair play to Luton, like I said, defensively very good. Chelsea individually have been excellent within this game.
Round 3 here in a fortnight against Leeds United, a side that's just won twice at Nottingham Forest in 4 days. Here is the corner for Luton Town in front of the shed end, and their support, which has been magnificent, up towards the edge of the 6-yard box. And Johnston arriving at the far post heads it down. It was well wide. It goes out for a goal kick for Chelsea. Chelsea haven't won this cup since 2015. You can't start talking about winning it now in August, but you can certainly not win it in August. You can go out very early and be humbled, and Chelsea usually negotiate this competition quite well. It is the shortest road back to silverware, isn't it? And sometimes I think the big clubs sort of try and target it for that reason.
I come from a place, Sam, where a trophy's a trophy at the end of the day. You know, I think back in the day this used to be seen as a non-event, but I think a trophy is a trophy.
Certainly not a non-event for Xabi Alonso. Luton's Carabao Cup journey ends at the bridge. Chelsea's smooth takeoff continues under Xabi Alonso. A debut goal for Danny Welbeck, who was serenaded and given a standing ovation as he left the pitch in the second half. A goal for Estebal's returning from injury as well. Sealed passage through to the next round of the competition. Leeds United here in a fortnight. 2 games, 2 wins for Xabi Alonso. A first home win tonight, and the fastest road back to a trophy stays open for him. For Luton, they'll go back to concentrating on promotion. Their unbeaten run ends. They will concentrate on the game against Mansfield on Sunday. The Hatters go home, but they'll have enjoyed the trip. Brilliant support from them tonight, and good defending for the large part, but they're out, and Chelsea go through. They've beaten Luton by 2-0.
So Chelsea, a very happy camp at the start of this campaign. Last year's finalists through to face Leeds, as Sam mentioned, back at Stamford Bridge. But it was Leanne Sanderson, a controlled, a comfortable victory for them in the end.
Yeah, I think so, and it was quite a joy to be here to watch Chelsea and the fluidity of their front line. And Cole Palmer was brilliant, Esteval exceptional, Danny Welbeck at 35 years old scores on his first start at Stamford Bridge. And you know, the standards were there from Chelsea. It's difficult in these types of games, Hugh, when you're expected to win, because Luton, to be fair to them, came and defended. That's what they needed to do. We knew that Chelsea were going to outplay them, and Jack Wilshere, you know, put on 2 attacking players in the last 10-15 minutes and tried to go for it. But there was some really positive play tonight from Chelsea. I felt like Barco was excellent in this game. Esteval, some individual performances that were very, very good.
We're going to talk about it in a little bit more detail very shortly. Indeed, we'll have some reaction from inside Stamford Bridge. Sam Matterface going to the park to go and get that for us. Leanne Sanderson, stay where you are. We're approaching the 90-minute mark at the Amex Stadium. So let's check in on Brighton and how they've approached this evening. A very comfortable win in the end. Full-time whistle not gone, but barring something that's beyond miraculous, they will be playing Conference League football this season. Let's get the latest with Ian Abrahams.
Yeah, Brighton 4, Tromsø 0. We're into 2 added minutes at the end of the game. Brighton ahead through Kostulas, who scored the opening goal from the edge of the penalty area. Poor defending by Tromsø. Again for the second goal, Maxime de Kuyper from the edge of the 6-yard box made it 2. Mats Vifa started and finished the move before half-time that made it 3. That was game over, effectively. The second half was played out as if so until Buscagli decided he fancied a goal. First he had a shot from the edge of the area that went in, but after it had been palmed out by the goalkeeper, but that was disallowed for offside, but he wasn't to be denied 4 minutes from the end of the 90 when he did fire the ball home. The draw for the next round, the group stage of the Conference League, which Brighton are the favourites to win it this year after West Ham, Chelsea and Palace in 3 of the last 4 years. That's tomorrow. Brighton will be in it because they lead 4-0 and we're into the dying seconds here at the Amex.
It's going to be a tougher competition this year, I think, Moose. Important that Brighton are back in Europe. They're a side that's been growing, as we know, over the years in the Premier League and look very comfortable where they are right now. There have been plenty of outgoings year on year. They seem to lose players. Carlos Baleba to Manchester United, the latest, and yet they bounce back stronger. If they can go and win the Conference League this year, it would represent something very special indeed. Another, by the way, of Tony Bloom's teams in the shape of Hearts will be playing in that competition, but Freiburg, Atalanta of Serie A, Ajax, looks like Monaco and Copenhagen will be in that competition as well. Again, just waiting for the full times in
it's
a
just
few
gone
of those.
Actually, it's just gone here. It's just gone here. The Brighton have 1-4. I absolutely take on board what you say, and you are 100% right. It is maybe harder than the league that was pretty easy actually in the end for the likes of West Ham and certainly Chelsea and Palace to win. But certainly, and I don't like to say the word Palace when I'm at Brighton because I know they're such rivals. But when you think about it, you know, to win a first major trophy, which it would be for Brighton, would be absolutely incredible. If it comes in the guise of Europe, then I don't think that Fabian Herzl or anyone at Brighton is going to complain about that in any way, shape or form. The one thing I would say is they've got to learn how to play 3 times a week. Now, you mentioned Man United, Chelsea playing tonight. They play 3 times a week generally every season there in Europe. I know Chelsea aren't this year and United weren't last year, but you take my point. For Brighton, this is all new. It's only the second time they've been in Europe, and Fabian Herzl was pointed out live on TalkSport yesterday that, you know, they absolutely have to learn how to play 3 games a week, and that will probably be their biggest test of the lot. Not Ajax, not all the teams you mentioned, but can they juggle the Premier League and the Conference League?
And the full-time whistle there. It is official, Moose.
Yeah, it is, absolutely is official. Brighton 4, Tromsø 0. A draw for tomorrow. The draw will be made tomorrow for the next stage of the Conference League. And Brighton and Fabian Herzl will be in it. And by the way, they'll go at the weekend to Chelsea, having scored 8 goals in the last 2 games. So they're in pretty good form at the moment.
Indeed they are. Moose, thank you very much indeed. He'll have reaction. We'll be hearing from Fabian Herzl as soon as we possibly can. But ultimately, Brighton fans, you are off to Europe, so if you want to share your thoughts on it, we'll have your calls on the sports bar from 10 o'clock this evening, 03717 223344. And don't forget, the draw taking place tomorrow evening for the Europa League and the Conference League as well, 11 a.m. on TalkSport. You'll be hearing that all in our mid-morning show with Sam Matterface, by the way. But let's head back to Leanne Sanderson, who's inside at Stamford Bridge. Joe Shannon alongside me here. Hugh wasn't Croft, by the way. Joe Shannon alongside me here at Craven Cottage. Chelsea, the 5-time winners, semi-finalists last year as well. Haven't won the Carabao Cup since 2018, but they are through. Leanne, it was a deserved win for Chelsea, as we've spoken about. One of the special moments of the game was Danny Welbeck getting off the mark in a Chelsea shirt. Now, lots has been said about the experience that he brings, and obviously he is of a decent vintage, but not much is being said about his quality at the moment. And what we saw tonight is that he has definitely got something to offer that isn't just an older, wiser head in the changing room.
That is true, and there's a reason why he was being linked to potentially going to the World Cup, because he always shows up, he always puts the ball in the back of the net. And the fact that this is, the Chelsea fans already have, he's singing a song for him, Hugh, just about speaks true. A guy that's played for Arsenal, Man United, and now, you know, at Chelsea. It's incredible, really. And he's 35 years old, but like, I do think he offers something different. I think it's it surprised me to a certain degree, him and Jordan Henderson coming here, but having seen Danny Welbeck and what he offers, you know, especially for this Chelsea side, why not? You know, he's not probably going to start half the games this season. Maybe in the Cup he might, but like, you never know. João Pedro is excellent. Obviously had a good start to the season, but yeah, I'm happy for Danny Welbeck because he's one of the good guys. You know, he's one of those people, like I said, that no one really has a bad word to say about him. Works hard, so yeah, I'm delighted for him.
I think it's a player though that, and I think this happened a lot with the cup competitions last year, not just this one, but the FA Cup as well. There was a feeling that there was a real drop-off from that first starting 11. We saw Esteval tonight, we saw Danny Welbeck starting as well in that front three, and ultimately these are players that you actually feel a lot more confident will produce in those games where Xabi Alonso will want to rest and rotate.
Yeah, definitely. And I think people expected Xabi Alonso to rotate even more. I don't think they expected Reece James to be captain in the team, you know, and to see certain players like Cole Palmer and Morgan Rogers. But I quite like that. Sometimes for a manager it's difficult, isn't it? Because people question when you don't start players and they question when you do. You hope that everybody comes through unscathed, and they have done from what I could see. And I think it was a really professional performance from Chelsea. But yeah, I want to give another mention. I know I speak about Esteval a lot, but like this guy, 19 years old, Hugh, and he's so brilliant to watch. Like I said, I think a lot of football now, you don't see players taking people on anymore. A lot of it is pass. You don't see wingers taking people on, and he is that type of player that if he can stay fit and healthy this year, I have no doubt, you know, he'll be up for all the accolades and all the awards, because there's not many players like him in the Premier League.
What we need to see, though, and this is my major concern when it comes to him, we saw, by the way, his brilliant dribbling quality during this game. He forced the own goal from a Doffin for the second. You know, top draw footwork and skills to get past his man to force the ball in. He's a lovely player, as you mentioned, Leanne, but there are not a lot of games for Chelsea this year. He isn't, as it stands, in that starting 11. We know that he's probably the next player off the bench, but he's going to want to play a lot more minutes than just to be a half an hour, you know, 30 minutes here or there. How do they keep him happy? I mean, I'm sure he's going to have to start every game in the Cup, but, you know, he's a player that probably deserves to play more than that.
Yeah, and if he continues to perform in this way, then he's going to give Xabi Alonso food for thought, isn't he? I think he's quality, and yeah, I mean, this is what Chelsea have wanted for a number of years. Strength in depth, but good strength in depth. They've obviously had to change their plan, what they were doing on and off the pitch, because it wasn't working, signing these players to these long-term contracts that weren't really good enough, hoping that one day they might be good enough to play for Chelsea. Really didn't really work out that way. Caicedo was an excellent signing, still took him a little while, you know, since coming from Brighton, but he's a top quality player that had a good season last year.